Canadians with numbers down low. Demidov fire, scores from between the circles. And it's a 6-3 Montreal lead with 16:28 to go in the third period.
We've reached do or die. The Buffalo Sabres were rolling to start Game 5 up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there. Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR. Pregame at 7. Looking around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights, they advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Bills' schedule, beneficially released along with the entire NFL schedule. For all the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com. They'll be opening the season on the road against the Texans before home opening, as we know, against the Lions Thursday night. So a short week there. Around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, who's been dealing with a knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering moving on from TJ Watt as well. Catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Show with the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Jeremy White.
Hey, they make us come in on days like this. Happy. It's Friday. It's Friday. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out. He's back on Monday. And we'll see if the Sabres are still alive and kicking at that point. They got to win to survive. Owen Parker is here. Joe Cali has returned. I was just looking up. All I wanted to look up right here was, and I don't know that Natural Stat Trick does it for the series. So I think I could find that. I think I'm going to find that maybe. I don't know. What I want to find, I'll find this. I want to find goals above expected, saved above expected for Luukkonen, Lyon, and Dobesh in this series. But you know what? Who cares? Like on some level,
make us feel any better right now.
Yeah, really, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
So that escalated quickly. The Sabres, if you put it this way, if you missed the start of the game and you turned it on at about the halfway point of the second period and then watched the game from there, you'd be like, wow, Montreal owns these dudes.
Yeah.
They absolutely bodied the Sabres. And then you would ask your friend, hey, I missed the first 30 minutes. What happened? I saw there were a lot of goals. And that person would say, oh, yeah, a lot of goofy goals, and the Sabres look like they're going to walk them out of the building.
Right.
It looked like the Sabres were going to win that game by 4.
Correct.
In the second period, while they're up 3-2. And then,
it got real loose.
Got real bad real fast.
Really fast.
Real bad real fast. And is that a team that is, afraid that it's not their night, afraid that goofy bounces are going in, afraid that they can't trust the goaltender that's in the net? I don't know. It could be a lot of those things.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
A lot of those things. It's there's going to be a lot to get to, of course, today. And the series is not over. It's going to be difficult to not sound like it's over.
Yeah.
Because we now have a third game where for basically half of it, it is Montreal caving them in.
Yeah.
Which they have not done to Montreal since the first 30 minutes of Game 1. And we are now heading to Game 6. And since the first 30 minutes of Game 1, the Sabres have not had a stretch of hockey where they are A, good, and B, caving Montreal in.
Yeah,
I guess you could say like first 10 minutes of Game 5.
There have been moments where they've been playing well. Game 4. There have been moments where they look like they're playing well, but so is Montreal. And I feel like what has happened is there have been that has happened early in these games, and then all of a sudden the Sabres lose it and Montreal keeps it, and it's Montreal now using the Sabres as a punching bag for the last half of the game, and it's been tough. That's happened a few times here, and it's hard not to just sort of like maybe they're not as good as that team.
Yeah. Because they don't have the depth the same way that Montreal does.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
It certainly is going to look like you're not as good as that team when that team got through a series without its star players playing well.
Right.
That's the Tampa series. And then those star players came to this series, and they're playing well.
Very.
So,
and the Sabres are not.
No, it's bad.
Their top players are hurting them actively.
It's bad. Like, when the season comes to an end, we always kind of knew we'll look back at it lovingly, fondly, because of what it ultimately has been, and that the future is bright. However, maybe the future is changing before our eyes. Maybe the future of what you want is changing right before our eyes, because it seems impossible to not talk about whether or not they should bring in bring Alex Tuch back for another contract. It feels impossible not to talk about what Tage is going through or what he's putting them through,
right.
One of the two. And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right, that's it.
Well,
You're done. Sorry, you peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun when you're playing bad teams. Everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know that, all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like those, the 4th and 5th goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobish, he gave up bad goals, and they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really
horrible.
bad goals. And what did he do?
Stabilize.
Yep. And Luukkonen gave up some goals that weren't even necessarily bad, but maybe unlucky on some level.
Super unlucky. I got no problem with him on the first
And
two.
he did not stabilize.
No.
He did not. The Demidov goal is the one that's just like, good night.
Right.
Like, you just know. Good night.
Yeah, and that's tough play. Like a great shot area, really good player with a really nice shot. But after giving up the 4th and 5th goal, you need to stop there. If you're gonna be giving up.
The fourth. Then it's the 4th goal that I'm talking about. Which one's the
Demidov goes through him?
Yes.
and Evans that is unacceptable.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Can't make it. Can't have it.
Like, that is. How many times have I said it through these playoffs already? Low danger chances that go in break you.
Yep.
They break you. And what happened in Game 4? The Sabres got a low danger chance that was a rim in that beats Dobish. They win the game.
Yep.
What happened last night? Demidov leaks one underneath Luukkonen, goes in, they win the game.
Yep.
That's it. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
You can't survive it.
There really is a what are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's what are you going to do in the series, And then there's really like, what are you going to do? What should they do about this? It's a very successful season that has seen us have meaningful game on May 16th. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? It is tough. The building last night, I did not go. My wife was at the game. She said the atmosphere was incredible.
It was insane.
Incredible. Until, of course, the goalie started giving up soft goals.
Right.
But that it was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it was
like Buffalo answering the Montreal bell.
Exactly.
To some degree.
That's what I said on postgame. Was like the first period was crazy in there. And the fans were going nuts. There were goals left and right, and it was fun. And then it all came undone. Maybe like mostly because of a bunch of bad goals. It's really frustrating. You just can't survive them.
Well,
that's the bottom line. They did not play well in front of him. I've got problems in front of Luukkonen. But Luukkonen giving up 4 and 5, those two goals.
Right. The job is for them to play well in front of you, and your job is to help them when they don't.
Right.
And like the Luukkonen conversation, I feel like maybe you're someone that's been a fan of his or not, or whatever, that he lets in these kind of games. And yesterday you and I had a long conversation about ceiling versus floor and what do I really want. And that I was sitting here making the case, I think I might want floor. I probably might have gone back to Lyon. If they respect the alternation of the goalies, that's what got us this far. They stick with Luukkonen in the Boston series when he wins a game. They stick with him here in the Montreal series when he wins a game. They stick with Lyon when he wins a game. So they went from the goalie rotation to goalie of the month, goalie of the week, goalie of the day. It went from rotation to vibes.
Exactly.
That's really what happened.
Yeah.
The rotation was, we don't care about the vibes at all. We're going to rotate. We think it makes you better. In the playoffs, it was vibes. It is vibes still. So who goes in Game 6? It's going to be Lyon, right?
Oh, has to be.
Has to be Lyon.
Has to be Lyon.
Cannot have Luukkonen in net.
Has to be Lyon. And the thing with Luukkonen isn't his entire career, to some degree, that he looks good enough to give you the idea that there's going to be consistency there. And when getting games in a row or 3 out of 4 or whatever, that goes away.
Yeah.
You finally unlocked what you thought brought out the best in Luukkonen and Lyon. And then in the playoffs, you have abandoned it. And even when talking about how important it was and using that methodology to go back to Luukkonen in Montreal, you decide, like, all right, we're not going to use that regular season strategy. We're going to continue with vibes. That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to make it all about goalie because it's definitely not.
Me neither.
But it's another. I mean, this was Game 2 against Boston where, like, I just don't like. I need better. I need better saves. I need something here.
You need better from a lot of things. That is always going to be at the forefront if it's a bad night at that spot.
The other thing about it is, like, we'll get to all your calls on this at 803-0550, whatever you want to say about it. Like, there's that. And then there's, once you do this, like, this has been a honeymoon season. Once you do it like this and Tage has this kind of postseason, like, he's a different player now for this team. Yep. He's not going to get the overpaid treatment, but he is going to get the is he good enough treatment, I think, from a lot of people.
It's going to be, can this be your top forward in the playoffs? Can you win with this guy as your best guy? And that's going to be a question moving forward.
It's going to seem impossible to me, the idea that if they're going to win the Stanley Cup as the best forward on that team on this roster. I mean, you have to, like, have faith one of the young kids becomes an absolute star.
Right.
Which is possible.
Absolutely.
Last night on the broadcast, they compared Helenius to Barkov, saying that that's his idol. This guy he idolizes. What's the word they used? Darren Pang talked about Helenius. Like, I mean, you could see why he loves him. He plays just like him. Look at him in the D zone. He's talking about Helenius there, and I don't get too carried away on that. But if they're going to make a Stanley Cup final, is the best forward on that team, on this roster, is it Benson? Is it Doan?
Right.
Or is it Robert Thomas?
Right. Or is it somebody outside?
Right. And I want to be careful here. Like, I don't want to sit here and have watched one series with Tage where he was fine against Boston and a series against Montreal and decide, like, I guess he's not going to get it done. Because Maybe Toronto has made that mistake with Mitch Marner, who continues to dissect the Western Conference in the playoffs.
Annihilating everything.
I'm always a little bit hesitant to just claim a guy can't do it, because put him in a different situation and he might be able to do it. So, anyway, 803-0550. Alex Tuch is, when he's on the ice in this series at 5-on-5, the goals are 8-0 Montreal. I heard Sneaky Joe. He's off today, but he's doing Locked On Sabres. I listened to him. And 8-0 when Tuch is on the ice.
You just can't. You cannot have that.
8-0.
I don't care how hard how hard you're working, how much effort you're putting in the D zone, how much you're trying on the forecheck. You're getting outscored 8-0 as a first-line player in the NHL playoffs. Your team is underwater.
Yep. And he's out there on the penalty kill, so overall it's 10-0.
Right.
He's been on the ice for 10 goals, 8 even strength, 0 goals for.
That's really, really, really tough. I don't know. It's difficult to analyze everything else because the things that are supposed to sort of bump everything back down into place have not been there. Tuch and Thompson have been ghosts. And so how are we supposed to analyze the rest of it?
Yep.
How can we tell how impactful, like, there's no attention that needs to be paid to them at this point. So that all gets filtered out throughout the rest of the roster, and you cannot survive it. Your best players being this poor. Whether they're hurt or not, you can't win with it.
To that point, at the set of Tage's injury is that he cannot shoot the puck.
It seems that way.
He cannot lift the puck.
Yeah.
He is not shooting when he has a chance to. He will rip slap shots, but in a spot where he could wire one to the top corner, you're not seeing it. So if he is injured, that's what it is. That's my guess.
I think
it's the part of his game that is the most missing. He is not ripping shots at the net. I'd like to find like a heat map on shot chart and slap shots versus backhands versus wristers, like whatever. I don't think he can lift the puck. He makes that move on Dobeš to, I don't know, I'd say put the game away, but I can't be confident that Luukkonen could have held it at 4-2. So,
but that was the moment of the game.
That was it.
That moment when Tage is coming down on a breakaway, and it's 3-2, and you've got a chance here to like bury them up to like just sit on that, go into the third period, and then do what you do in the third. Tage scores there, and it's a completely different game. And that is a moment that you need your best guy to make a play. You just need it, especially in a series where it's been all quiet otherwise. Like, you had your chance. If you're struggling, whatever, hurt, injured, whatever it is, you had your moment there, gift wrapped. Here's your chance to, like, even though it's been a struggle, here's your moment. You can do it. And and there it goes. And that's the game, and could be the season.
Could be the season, yep. They could also win in Montreal. They really could.
Absolutely. Really I know it's going to sound pretty bleak today from us, but they could definitely win on the road and force a Game 7, and then Game 7's Game 7, and you never know.
And it'd be at home, and Lindy would have them stay in hotels.
Right.
How many more times in my life, just asking, just going to a little snark out at 6 a.m., can we do that?
Absolutely.
How many more times in my life will I hear that being home is actually bad because your friends are around you?
It is a pretty common.
How many times in my life going forward will I hear, no, it's bad because they ask you for tickets when you're at home? It's 2026. Will I hear that in 2055?
You'll hear it until the end of time.
Bad. It's bad being at home because there's distractions. Oh. Okay. So the Players Association will soon want to introduce the option to take road advantage in playoffs. Teams will want to do that. No, actually, home games make more money. I mean, you want more home games for the money. That's what you do it for. Am I ever tired of hearing that? Really tired of hearing that. They lost Game 2, Game 5, Game 2, Game 5. They have 4 playoff losses at home. The friends and family not come around in Games 1? It's only Game 2 and Game 5?
Right.
What about Game 7? Do friends and family come to Game 7?
Yeah, are they banned?
Do they ask for tickets in Game 7? Not to say it is not valid on some level, but, man, like, when will it stop being a conversation?
You've got to be able to handle
You just win at home.
as a professional.
Montreal, by the way, is also sub 500 at home this playoffs. They're 2-3.
Right.
If they lose Game 6, they have the same home record as the Sabres, 2-4. So they are 2-3 at home, and Montreal is also very good on the road. And is it about pressure? I don't know. Does Montreal feel pressure at home? Why are they under 500 at home? Tampa lost a bunch of home games. Was that about pressure? I mean, road teams win. Road teams win in the playoffs all the time. All right, we'll get some calls in. Larry in South Florida. Larry, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, we have a Bills schedule to talk about, too, so we'll do we'll do that at some point.
The first 5 games are like a gauntlet.
It sure is. It sure is.
But you get by that. This wasn't about the Bills, but
it's fine. What do you
by
got?
that, I think at 3-2, you're in good shape. All right, Sabres. I'm sad. I'm tired. I'm angry. My coworkers are just going to love me today. To start, I don't understand how our 3 losses to Montreal. I mean, Game 2 was just they didn't show. They got killed. But the other 2 that we lost, for half of the game, we're either it's neck and neck or we're dominating, and then we get destroyed the next half of the game. And when I was watching that game last night, I didn't get mad or throw anything or yell or scream or swear. I just sat there and I was like, man, how do you go from being 3-2 to losing 6-3? And I'm thinking about when we go up 2-1, and then 9 seconds later, it's 2-2. Mm-hmm. And then in Tage, like you just mentioned, he had that break. If you watch that replay, before he cut to the extreme right, he had the 5-0 open. And I think a healthy old Tage, he'll rip it between the legs every time because he'll see that and he'll take advantage of it. Tuch, like you said, non-existent. But the play of Timmins and that giveaway in front of his net, I would have benched him instantaneously. And I know Lindy loves him.
Who's the player he's looking for right there? He passed it to the feet of, I forget who it was, a forward is right there, who's clearly not looking for that pass, right? And it's just like buried back in their net.
I mean, that's one thing. You never, coming out of your zone, unless it's wide open, you never pass the puck in the middle of the ice ever. You use the boards or you do something else, especially in front of your net. But he's a guy that I know Lindy loves him because of the penalty kill. But what? They were 2 for 2 and they scored in the first 30 seconds. UPL would never play another minute for me in Buffalo. Timmins would not play again. Schenn would not play again. And against this team, why isn't Kesselring and Metsä in the game? Metsä showed that he had some speed. Kesselring has got some speed. He's got some toughness. We're definitely not playing tough when the time gets difficult for us. So I don't know why these guys are even in the game. I understand against Tampa and Boston, but why is UPL even a consideration? I know he had a good game in Montreal, but goal number 2 in Montreal, it was soft. So I'm putting Lions, and I'm making some major changes for next year. And what is going on with Tuch? If you listen to his postgame, he sounded so defeated, so deflated. And I was like, I think these guys are done. I think Montreal is going to go in there and close the series out. But, hey, we're still in it. It's not over. But I don't know what we're going to do. But I'm not playing Timmins, Schenn, Stanley, even Greenway. I'm done with him, too. Like, how many times that guy drop a stick or break a stick? See you later. Let's get in the fast, puck-moving defenseman, and let's see what happens.
Thanks, Larry. I don't anticipate lineup changes. I don't anticipate Timmins not coming out, right? He's too important for them on the penalty kill. I think Lindy really likes Timmins.
Probably.
I just don't think he's coming out.
I hear you. It was a mess last night.
It was bad.
From him. A mess. I think you're probably right. He's too valuable for what they do in terms of penalty killing, and his shot blocking is really effective. But he was a disaster last night, and he has been up and down throughout these playoffs. And yeah, I mean the Schenn thing is like, how valuable is his penalty killing? Because I don't know, you're getting nothing 5-on-5 that is going to help you in any way. He hasn't really hurt you, so I'm not mad at him, but you're at a point now where you need all the help you can get. You're not trying to survive. You're trying to claw back. So it might be time to take a risk there.
Your worst players at 5-on-5 are your top line.
I saw a chart yesterday with some of their numbers.
Have you got a 31% goal share in this series? Expected goal share? Yeah, like your top line is if it's your top line, they're your worst players. And you want to almost remove Krebs from that because I don't think Krebs is playing poorly. I think he's with two players that are, right?
Yeah, I mean he's never going to be the driver of whatever's happening on that line. I think that whatever's happening on that line, he's going to kind of go with. If they're struggling, he's going to struggle. If they're playing well, he'll probably be fine. It's going to be pretty rare that he's on the other end of whatever Tuch and Thompson are doing.
Yeah.
So the blame definitely lays with those two guys, and
there it is. Krebs, Tuch, Thompson, a 31% expected goal share in this series. 31.
That's just
Norris, Benson, Doan, 54%.
Yeah. Which is a good number.
Yep. Helenus, Jacquin, Zucker, 75%.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they actually are. They have a bunch of lines that have done well. They're really getting killed.
But their top line, who plays the most, isn't good right now, and can't produce for them, and you can't live with it.
803-0550 is our phone number. Dominic, we'll get to your call. We'll talk about the Bills' schedule. I've got good news on the Bills' schedule. You know, some of these advanced, fancy numbers you can look into on travel and rest. There's a very good thing to look at on the Bills' schedule. So, tell you that along the way. A nice rose of the day on that. 803-0550, a day full of maybe a lot of thorns. Not over. Series is not over. They got to win in Montreal, and that looks tough the way they're playing. We're talking about it with you here on WGR. Jeremy White here for Riverfront. So that escalated quickly. The Sabres, if you put it this way, if you missed the start of the game and you turned it on at about the halfway point of the second period and then watched the game from there, you'd be like, wow, Montreal owns these dudes.
Yeah.
They absolutely bodied the Sabres. And then you would ask your friend, hey, I missed the first 30 minutes. What happened? I saw there were a lot of goals. And that person would say, oh, yeah, a lot of goofy goals, and the Sabres look like they're going to walk them out of the building.
Right.
It looked like the Sabres were going to win that game by 4.
Correct.
In the second period, while they're up 3-2. And then,
it got real loose.
Got real bad real fast.
Really fast.
Real bad real fast. And is that a team that is, afraid that it's not their night, afraid that goofy bounces are going in, afraid that they can't trust the goaltender that's in the net? I don't know. It could be a lot of those things.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
A lot of those things. It's there's going to be a lot to get to, of course, today. And the series is not over. It's going to be difficult to not sound like it's over.
Yeah.
Because we now have a third game where for basically half of it is Montreal caving them in.
Yeah.
Which they have not done to Montreal since the first 30 minutes of Game 1. And we are now heading to Game 6. And since the first 30 minutes of Game 1, the Sabres have not had a stretch of hockey where they are A, good, and B, caving Montreal in.
Yeah.
I guess you could say like first 10 minutes of Game 5.
There have been moments where they've been playing well. Game 4. There have been moments where they look like they're playing well, but so is Montreal. And I feel like what has happened is there have been that has happened early in these games, and then all of a sudden the Sabres lose it and Montreal keeps it, and it's Montreal now using the Sabres as a punching bag for the last half of the game, and it's been tough. That's happened a few times here, and it's hard not to just sort of like maybe they're not as good as that team.
Yeah.
Because
they don't have the depth the same way that Montreal does.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
It certainly is going to look like you're not as good as that team when that team got through a series without its star players playing well.
Right.
That's the Tampa series. And then those star players came to this series, and they're playing well.
Very. And the Sabres are not.
No, it's bad.
Their top players are hurting them actively.
It's bad. And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right, that's it.
Well,
You're done. Sorry, you peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun when you're playing bad teams. Everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know that, all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like those, the 4th and 5th goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobish, he gave up bad goals, and I mean, they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really bad goals. And what did he do?
Stabilize.
Yep. And Luukkonen gave up some goals that weren't even necessarily bad, but maybe unlucky on some level.
Super unlucky. I have no problem with him on the first.
And he
Canadians with numbers down low. Demidov fire scores from between the circles. And it's a 6-3 Montreal lead with 16:28 to go in the third period.
We've reached do or die. The Buffalo Sabres rolling to start Game 5, up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there. Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR, pregame at 7. Looking around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills schedule has been officially released. For all the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com. Looking around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, dealing with the knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. And ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports that some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering moving on from TJ Watt in 2027. Join us in the fight against cancer by riding with the WGR Ride for Roswell team on Saturday, June 27th. When you sign up, you'll get a rider gift from WGR and Tom's Pro Bike on Walden Avenue in Lancaster. Plus, at the event, stop by our table and scan the QR code for a chance to win a $1,000 gift card from Tom's Pro Bike. Visit WGR550.com for all the details. Those are your Paddock Chevrolet sports headlines. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
In behind the net. Sabres with good possession here. Up top. Timmins to the far circle. Here comes the shot. Scores! Great traffic in front. And referee running into Matheson at the end of the play there. But the Buffalo Sabres get the first goal of the game here. 2 minutes in. It's 1-0.
Dan Dunleavy on the call. One of the first moments of the game. For the moments in your life, go forth to Firth Jewelers. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out. He's back Monday. And we're talking about last night's game with you and, the state of things. Notice a rattle in your ducts or a rise in your heating and cooling bills if you do give Belknap a ring with 0% financing. The cost of upgrading to a high-efficiency dual-fuel heating system is a breeze. Learn more at belknapheating.com. That's belknapheating.com. Go green, save energy and money with Belknap. Schedule a free estimate on your new installation. Give Belknap a ring at 688-1728 for more comfort and less ka-ching. Give Belknap a ring. Belknap, a presenting sponsor of the show on YouTube these days. If you're watching us on the stream, hey, what's up? I should be able to see all of your sad faces too. You're just in there sad like we are, but everyone's going to look at me sad.
Like an open FaceTime. We get to just click on everybody's screen and see.
The thing I was going to mention, the Bills' schedule, because we can get to the schedule. They're playing on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. That there's a number you can look for called net rest differential. And all that is how many days rest do you have compared to the team you're playing every week. You play a team that comes off a bye, or you're off a bye, and the team played on a Friday or a Thursday anyway. The Bills are second in the NFL in net rest differential, meaning they will be of all the games they play, having more rest than your opponent. The Bills will have the second most this year. So no complaining about short weeks.
All right.
No.
You can't complain about it. 3 days, and then that's how it's what Thursday football is. The Bills play on a Friday. They play on a Saturday. So no complaining about rest. They'll be the second most rested team in the league compared to the team they're playing against that week. 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. All right, on the Sabres last night, anything you want to throw at us? I was just reading a comment from a Montreal writer, Stu Cowan, who we had on the show last week. He wrote about the Canadiens last night. The youngest team in the NHL playoffs, Montreal, has a maturity and a confidence level beyond its years, and it's showing again tonight. They never give up. And that's something that is missing from this postseason for these Sabres. Down 5-3 with a period left is this game's not over.
Right.
And I think about game 2. Game 2 is it's 3-1. You're at home. You're down 2 goals. But I don't feel like that game is over. And what happens? Montreal gets the next goal in both scenarios. In Game 2 and in Game 5, you are not clawing your way back in. You're not throwing the kitchen sink at them late in games. It seems like the Sabres' best periods have been early in games, and then Montreal pushes back, and the Buffalo Sabres kind of just go away.
Right. They wilt. They've wilted for a few games here. And that's been disappointing because I think that's something that they keep talking about. We've been really good with our backs up against the wall. We're resilient. We're whatever. Like overall throughout the season, I would say that that's accurate. But right now, at the time it counts most, they've been wilting, and that's disappointing to see, to say the least. I think I would have expected them to show more fight in these games. That I need them to have a pushback after Montreal has a pushback. Mm-hmm. After they have jumped out to early leads in a few of these games, and let them sort of claw their way back into it, and you've got to have a response, and they just haven't had it. They see Montreal come back, and they're like, almost had them.
I thought they would have maybe done that last night. They kind of started in that, right? Going back and forth, haymaker after haymaker, and then they, like you said, wilted. So it's frustrating because you thought they could go toe-to-toe for maybe the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, the series is supposed to be between two very evenly matched teams.
Right.
Like the Sabres finished ahead of them in the standings. The Sabres had more regulation wins. Like since December 9th, this team's been lights out. And long stretches of this series, they are not. And it's probably because two guys on the same line that get a lot of ice time are not doing the job. It's just,
right.
It's been a rough series for them. And, whether they're walking wounded or just not on their game, it's kind of undeniable, of course.
Right.
Dominic is up. Dominic, good morning.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for taking another one of my calls.
Yeah.
Good morning to you as well. I'm trying to keep it a little more positive. I've been crying a lot, having a lot of tantrums this week, so I'm trying to keep it a little more on the up and up. The only thing I was going to say about the Sabres-wise is I think the reason Tuch seems defeated is because he knows he cost himself millions of dollars a year with this performance this playoffs, because I don't think he's getting $11 million. But moving on from that, just the schedule releases, and I've been watching them. It's what my buddy's a Browns fan, so it's the highlight of his season because it's all downhill after that. So he's basically always sending me the schedule releases. And I was just wondering if you guys had any favorites, which ones you thought were funniest or best or anything like that, just to lighten the mood maybe a little bit from how we're all feeling. That's all, guys. Have a good weekend. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Dominic. I don't really watch them all. I don't really pay much attention to them. I think they're, funny and cool, and there's a lot of them, but it is not a Super Bowl for me to just watch 32 schedule release videos.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single one, if I'm being honest with you. I was too busy.
I saw the Bills.
I didn't even
I saw Arizona's is horrendously bad.
I saw that Chargers did a Halo one.
Yeah,
that seems cool.
They put a lot of work into that one.
Mm-hmm. There's some nuggets in there. I only saw the Raiders one.
I saw the NFL decided they would not have a policy about not putting Mike Vrabel in it.
Yeah.
And Diane Rossini, and I thought, well, congratulations on that. That might be the biggest news.
Right.
Any team that did take that shot, I feel like, I don't want to say I'd feel less about them, but I just feel like it's such low-hanging fruit I wouldn't do it.
I think the Chargers were the only one.
Yeah,
it's that next photo dump, 2 stops ahead or something.
It wasn't,
like that.
and it wasn't even necessarally that. It was kind of
veiled.
Yeah, about the coverage almost more than it was about the actual thing.
Yeah,
so whatever.
Doesn't mean much to me. So apologies.
Sorry.
803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. Thanksgiving night, Christmas Day, some Thursdays, some Sunday nights, some Monday nights. The first 5 games of the schedule are tough. Real tough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, those first 5.
No pressure, Joe Brady.
Yeah, right. Those 3 home games in a row, Lions, Chargers, Patriots, is like,
yep.
Whew.
After going to Houston and then finishing that up with going to the Rams.
To the Rams.
Yeah. That's a tough opening stretch.
That's no joke.
And, of course, the Bills are a good team, but, any team in the NFL that's playing those 5 games in a row, there's 2 stretches on the Bills' schedule. There's weeks 1 through 5, and then there's weeks 12 through 16, which I think are equally tough.
Yep.
That include, the Chiefs. I'm not so sure about them right now.
Patriots,
the Broncos.
Even the Packers could be.
Yeah,
whatever.
You got a tough couple of stretches in there.
Yeah.
Good news is you should have 4 free wins against the Dolphins and the Jets. And I mean free.
Yeah.
You should have free wins against those teams.
They should be. Yeah.
Definitely 2 free ones against Miami. The Jets. The Jets we'll see with Geno Smith, but I'm just, I'm not sold. And Aaron Glenn.
Smith.
Joe in the car. Oh, goodness. Hello. Joe!
Hey, guys. Good morning. I spent the last couple days up in Montreal, ironically, and I wanted to get your take on the coaching job that the local guy from Laval, Martin St. Louis, how he's doing so far in the series. I don't know if you knew this or not, but his only head coaching experience prior to this was coaching his kids in Pee-wee. I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I'd like to hear what you guys think. I'll take my answer on the air. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think he's doing fine.
I think he's doing really good. Maybe even better than fine.
I think his top players are scoring goals.
I think his special teams are elite, which is a big deal. I think his face-off plays are really good. I can't remember which goal it was. Whatever goal, I got into a thing on Twitter about it, where Power went up high in the zone. There was a really, really good play design. It was the Evans goal. Or no, Anderson. Backdoor tap-in pass from across it was the second goal.
Yep.
That face-off play was genius. They know that the Sabres are trying to play man-on-man. So Power's guy, 85, goes high up in the zone to switch with his D. It drags Power up above the slot, above the play, and opens the seam up. And it's a great play design, and that is a spot where coaching can really matter off faceoffs, and I think that's been dangerous for them.
One thing that's key to that is winning the faceoff.
Correct. I think it's interesting. I think that St. Louis, in terms of tactical sort of deployment and strategy and that sort of stuff in the game, has probably outcoached Lindy, but Lindy's gambles, I think, have paid off for the most part. I think in Game 4, the Luukkonen decision was good. I think in the Helenius coming in was great, but was that too late for that?
I think it's too late. I mean, Helenius should have been on this team, yeah.
Right. So, there have been some things that I think Lindy has hit well, but was it perfect? And I don't know that I want to go that far. I've generally really liked what he's done in terms of controlling the narrative and stuff, but I think on the ice, San Luis getting him right now, which is tough because you'd want to think that your coach, as the caller mentioned, that has, infinitely more NHL coaching experience. Not that, Marty St. Louis hasn't been around the league for a long time. He's a legend. He probably should go in the Hall of Fame.
He did jump right from coaching Pee-wee to the NHL.
Right.
It's just, hockey's hockey.
That's kind of how their whole operation's gone. Their whole front office were like agents, plus Jeff Gorton, who got fired in New York. And so they came in, and it was their kind of like first run at it, and like everybody's doing pretty good over there, I'd say. Yep. So, if it works, it works.
It works.
Remember when Jeff Saturday jumped to the NFL after coaching high school more recently?
Yeah, this is working out a little bit.
A little bit better than that. Yeah.
803-0550. Tuch and Thompson break them up for Game 6. That feels like it. I mean, you might go down with the ship.
Right.
Or you break it up and, give one of them.
Lindy said last night, like, when you get to a certain point in the game where you need goals, like, your best guys have to play.
That's right.
And those are two of your best guys, so they'll probably play together.
Yeah.
But they're
your best guys in theory, but they certainly are not your best guys right now.
No, I'd rather have a lot of guys on the ice in a need-a-goal situation than them at this moment.
803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550 to join us. Get you that stat on the Bills' schedule. Also, if you didn't see the Mitch Marner goal from last night, holy cow.
Jeez.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Go seek that
It's going to be called the Marner or something, maybe. Who knows? A clean breakaway, and Vegas is on to the Western Conference Final like they are every year of their existence, almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. They beat Anaheim and take them out in 6 games. This series will go to Game 6 tomorrow, and perhaps that's the last game of Round 2, unless the Sabres can pull something out at Bell Center. Jeremy and Joe here on WGR. And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right? That's it.
Well,
You're done. Sorry. You peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun. When you're playing bad teams, everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then, who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know that, all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like, the 4th and 5th goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobish, he gave up bad goals, and, they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really
horrible.
Bad goals. And what did he do?
Stabilized.
Yep. And Luukkonen gave up some goals that weren't even necessarily bad, but maybe unlucky on some level.
Super unlucky. I got no problem with him on the first two.
Your worst players at 5-on-5 are your top line.
I saw a chart yesterday with some of their numbers.
Have you got a 31% goal share in this series? Expected goal share? Yeah, like your top line is if it's your top line, they're your worst players. And you want to almost remove Krebs from that because I don't think Krebs is playing poorly. I think he's with 2 players that are, right?
Yeah, he's never going to be the driver of whatever's happening on that line. I think that whatever's happening on that line, he's going to kind of go with. If they're struggling, he's going to struggle. If they're playing well, he'll probably be fine. It's going to be pretty rare that he's on the other end of whatever Tuch and Thompson are doing.
Yeah.
So the blame definitely lays with those two guys, and
there it is. Krebs, Tuch, Thompson, a 31% expected goal share in this series. 31.
That's just
Norris, Benson, Doan, 54%.
Yeah, which is a good number.
Yep. Helenus, Jaquin, Zucker, 75%.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they actually are. They have a bunch of lines that have done well. They're really getting killed.
But their top line, who plays the most, isn't good right now, and can't produce for them, and you can't live with it.
So one quick NFL schedule note. The Christmas slate, which is Christmas Eve and 3 Christmas Day games, those are all playoff rematches. I don't know if they did that intentionally. Not just good teams, but teams that met in the playoffs. And I think it's kind of cool, right? Like, if you're doing the best you can to try and guarantee good games, Christmas Day, you've got the package of Christmas Day games. Bears-Packers, that was a playoff game. Bills-Broncos, playoff game. Rams-Seahawks. And then Christmas Eve, this is one article at NFL did not have the Christmas Eve game. The Christmas Eve game is Eagles. No, never mind. That's Eagles-Texans. They did not meet the playoffs. Okay, so just Christmas Day then. All 3 Christmas Day games are playoff rematches, including the Bills and the Broncos, which 4:30 on Christmas Day, it's fine. But good by me.
Your mornings and day is pretty much unaffected at that point.
I
right?
mean,
like
I
later
always,
into Christmas dinner and stuff. But
from the time I was 10, Christmas kind of ends, and you're like, all right, well, can I? You guys want to hang out? It's like it's 2 o'clock. Like, are we allowed to call friends?
Mm-hmm.
Or is everyone, well, I got family stuff I got to do. 4:30, like, that sounds great. Christmas is over.
Yeah. You kind of like, go play with the toys, kids.
Yeah.
And, we'll hang out and watch the football.
Yep. And then, of course, like Thanksgiving, we'll have to figure out, Thanksgiving tailgate. Probably just do it right at the tailgate. 8:15 or 8:20 game against the Chiefs. The first 5, woof.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely nuts, the first 5 games for the Bills. And you decide who's a bigger test on, Joe Brady or Jim Leonard. I mean, you got some offenses to stop. Houston, maybe not, but Detroit, Patriots, Chargers, Rams. Those are tough games. Tough games out of the chute for the Bills and their new coaching staff. 803-0550, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Sabres loss. And Game 6, it's not over. Anyone out there make a case that it's coming back for Game 7? I don't feel like I'll make that pick, but it is possible. Jeremy and Joe here on WGR. So that escalated quickly. The Sabres, if you put it this way, if you missed the start of the game and you turned it on at about the halfway point of the second period and then watched the game from there, you'd be like, wow, Montreal owns these dudes.
Yeah.
They absolutely bodied the Sabres. And then you would ask your friend, hey, I missed the first 30 minutes. What happened? I saw there were a lot of goals. And that person would say, oh, yeah, a lot of goofy goals, and the Sabres look like they're going to walk them out of the building.
Right.
It looked like the Sabres were going to win that game by 4.
Correct.
In the second period while they're up 3-2. And then,
it got real loose.
Got real bad real fast.
Really fast.
Real bad real fast. And is that a team that is, afraid that it's not their night, afraid that goofy bounces are going in, afraid that they can't trust the goaltender that's in the net? I don't know. It could be a lot of those things.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
A lot of those things. It's there's going to be a lot to get to, of course, today. And the series is not over. It's going to be difficult to not sound like it's over.
Yeah.
Because we now have a third game where for basically half of it is Montreal caving them in.
Yeah.
Which they have not done to Montreal since the first 30 minutes of Game 1. And we are now heading to Game 6. And since the first 30 minutes of Game 1, the Sabres have not had a stretch of hockey where they are A, good, and B, caving Montreal in.
Yeah.
I guess you could say like first 10 minutes of Game 5.
There have been moments where they've been playing well. Game 4. There have been moments where they look like they're playing well, but so is Montreal. And I feel like what has happened is there have been that has happened early in these games, and then all of a sudden the Sabres lose it and Montreal keeps it, and it's Montreal now using the Sabres as a punching bag for the last half of the game, and it's been tough. That's happened a few times here, and it's hard not to just sort of like maybe they're not as good as that team.
Yeah.
Because
they don't have the depth the same way that Montreal does.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
It certainly is going to look like you're not as good as that team when that team got through a series without its star players playing well.
Right.
That's the Tampa series. And then those star players came to this series, and they're playing well.
Very. And the Sabres are not.
No, it's bad.
Their top players are hurting them actively.
It's bad. Your worst players at 5-on-5 are your top line.
I saw a chart yesterday with some of their numbers.
Have you got a 31% goal share in this series? Expected goal share? Yeah, like your top line is if it's your top line, they're your worst players. And you want to almost remove Krebs from that because I don't think Krebs is playing poorly. I think he's with two players that are. Right?
Yeah, I mean he's never going to be the driver of whatever's happening on that line. I think that whatever's happening on that line, he's going to kind of go with. If they're struggling, he's going to struggle. If they're playing well, he'll probably be fine. It's going to be pretty rare that he's on the other end of whatever Tuch and Thompson are doing.
Yeah.
So the blame definitely lays with those two guys, and
there it is. Krebs, Tuch, Thompson. A 31% expected goal share in this series. 31.
That's just...
Norris, Benson, Doan, 54%.
Yeah. Which is a good number.
Yep. Helenus, Jaquin, Zucker, 75%.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they actually are. They have a bunch of lines that have done well. They're really getting killed.
But their top line, who plays the most, isn't good right now, and can't produce for them, and you can't live with it.
Canadians with numbers down low. Demidov fires, scores from between the circles. And it's a 6-3 Montreal lead with 16:28 to go in the third period.
We've reached do or die territory. The Buffalo Sabres rolling to start Game 5, up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there. Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR, pregame at 7. Looking around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills schedule has officially been released. For all of the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com. And around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, who's been dealing with a knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering moving on from TJ Watt in 2027. Catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
You get in a series like this and you're struggling a little bit. I think he's lost just a little bit of confidence, trying a little bit too hard to make that extra play. The biggest thing is you got to move your feet. Always move your feet. Get your feet moving, whether it's through the neutral zone, whether it's you're challenging at the blue line. That line just hasn't been quite connected. And I think it all comes down to, skating on pucks in the offensive zone. If you want to go to a couple games there in Boston in the first period, the Game 6, how well they moved inside the zone, feet have to get moving.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff on Alex Tuch and that line, which has been getting rolled in this series. 8-0 at even strength when Tuch is on the ice. 8-0 for the bad guys in this series. Montreal, 8 goals even strength and none for Tuch. Tuch has no points in this series. So last night, let's talk about it. Were you there? You want to just, chat about it? 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550 to join us. The Twitter poll up, if you want to take a shot at this as a, topic or a phone call, you can give it to us as well, which is, what do you feel more about this series? Like, it's not over yet. They could win Game 6 in Montreal and come back here for Game 7, but which feels more true of this Sabres-Canadian series? It's just a rough series, or it has exposed some major flaws? Which do you think it is? 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 to join us. And, last night's game was crazy at the start. I was trying to put the kids to bed, and I was going to, catch up on the first period after they were asleep. And it's easy, right? You put the phone down, you just I got it on pause downstairs. I'm going to catch up during the first intermission. Good to go. The problem was, I get the notifications from the Sabres on my watch, and my watch buzzed a million times. And the scoring was happening so fast and furious in that drunk first period that I checked my watch, and 3 goals had been scored. All right, I'll catch up. I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
Of course,
that's always fun.
I did catch up. And the first period was wild beyond the goals. Oh, everything about it. It looked like a disjointed game between two teams that don't practice systems.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
It was totally wild.
Insane. I said it was
river hockey.
Welcome to the series as built.
Yeah, river hockey.
That was what everybody thought the whole thing would look like. And obviously that's not realistic for a playoff series. But, it was insane. It was crazy. Back and forth, odd man rushes, ozone play, and, lots of exiting the zone early from both sides. It was, it was pretty crazy.
So we'll talk about it with you at 803-0550. On Luukkonen, Lions going to go in for Game 6 and try and force that thing back. Montreal had a chance to eliminate Tampa in Montreal in Game 6 and lost. So the idea that they cannot be beaten there is, of course, not true. The Canadiens are under 500 at home in these playoffs, just like the Sabres are. So go in there, win a road game, and then I mean, Lindy even joked about it. If they get back here, they will pretend it's a road game.
Yeah,
so,
a.k.a. probably stay in a hotel and bar friends and family from seeing any of the players.
I guess so. Sure.
Have fun.
Sure.
Or you can just learn how to not be distracted.
Or you just play better.
Right.
I mean,
that's it. Really, that is
just,
what not being distracted means.
Try to play better, make a couple more saves. I don't know. The top line just it's tough. It's tough. You get into this series. We knew it coming in. Montreal had won a series against Tampa with nothing from their top players. And now their top players are gone. They look like a much much better team.
Right.
803-0550. Matt in the car. Matt, you're on WGR.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks. As far as I'm concerned with Tuch, I'm done with Tuch. Like, I'm done. Like, I was like, you want to know it? And the feelings, like, have, like, gone all over the place with him. Last series, I was like, all right, yeah, sign him. This series, I'm, like, done. I, like, have watched him play, and I don't even think he looks quick. I think his passing is terrible. And I don't think that he's even putting hardly any shots on net. Like, just watching him, I'm, like, really, like, upset about this whole thing. Because I was, like, last night, I was, like, so pumped. I'm like, you want to know what? Like, we're going to do this. Like, we'll go into Game 6. Like, I was thinking about taking the kids, like, to the arena, like, for the watch party. I'm like, so they can clinch. We'll be there. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. After last night's sports, I'm like, no. And as far as I'm concerned, don't re-sign Tuch and get somebody that can win face-offs. And the Bills have a tough road first 5 games, but I'm still saying 3-2 in the first 5.
All right. Thanks, Matt. 3-2 would not be that bad. I mean, 4-1 sounds great. 5-0 would be incredible in that run of first 5 games for the Bills. To the Tuch thing, you know, throughout this process, we've had all the way back to Kevin Adams, and he and Tuch are talking about it, and the numbers get floated out there, and then last I heard from Yarmo, or we heard from Yarmo, they were getting closer, maybe continuing a dialogue. They, of course, didn't move him at the deadline because of the season that they were having, and I think it would have been nuts to move him at the deadline. Right. I said that when Yarmo got hired. Like, if you're in contention, you definitely do not trade that player.
No.
He can walk for nothing, and you take, you know, the returns on what you got as a rental himself. I thought and hoped that what they've done here makes it less that they feel like they have to re-sign him.
Exactly.
I've been back and forth on whether or not they should, but I don't think that they have to. Whereas, you know, if they had another season finishing 13th and he comes up for a contract, I thought they would have to overpay to get him to stay here and, you know, be the guy that grew up a fan and, you know, all that stuff.
Right.
I don't feel that way anymore because I think that they have done a lot of good things. Good teams bring a player like this back. I think that it's totally reasonable to bring him back.
Good, yeah. I agree.
Age curves. I got guys in the Stanley Cup playoffs that are 36 and producing. He's going to be, what, 30? Mm-hmm. Okay. If I sign him to an 8-year deal and I get 4 good years out of it, that's kind of a normal thing to happen.
It is.
The question is, do you feel like you can get 4 years out of it, or do you think that what you're seeing now is a bigger indicator?
Right.
Like, not to, whatever, rub salt in an old wound. We all decided Stephon Diggs was washed in like 3 weeks. Right? It was 8 weeks. It was half a season. They changed the coordinators half a season, like that guy's washed. And away he went. And that's different because the age curve at that position and what he had to do. I don't want to overreact to this series and think that Tuch is no longer going to be a good player. And I would even go so far as to defend if the Sabres had 4 guys who were only worth anything in the regular season, I would say to you, there is still value in the regular season. It is what gets you here.
Right.
You'd like, of course, him to be producing in this series. He's not producing, not playing well. I don't know what to make of it. If they do extend him, which the latest from Darren Dreger, I believe, was that everyone in the league thinks it's going to get done.
That was before this all started for him, though, I think.
But is Yarmo, if they're close and like ready to locked it, yeah, sure. End of the season, you know, lock or clean out. We'll get back together. We'll announce and we'll be happy. We'll get the lines, the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Is Yarmo going to look at a 6 game if they lose on Saturday or 7 game series against Montreal and say, you know what, actually, I'm dropping that $3 million per year? Is that something that I mean, it could happen.
It could.
It could
it's
happen.
Unlikely, but I think that's probably why you don't have the deal done yet, is so that
he
you
wants
can
to
continue to analyze and go like, all right, what is this guy going to do for us? Who is this guy going to be for us? And, if that's the case, then you're getting to this point and you're like, all right.
Are we going to find out he's also hurt?
I think maybe.
I mean, is hockey just if you didn't produce in the playoffs, you're hurt? You got to be careful with that, right?
Right.
Zadorov claimed to have a
torn MCL off the bone,
which is just not
doesn't seem
possible,
super possible, but it's possible, I guess. I mean, you put a brace on the knee,
sure.
And you just
you play bad. Like, actually, guess what? I'm actually not. I'm actually not alive right now. I'm skating a zombie body.
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, my brain's being controlled by a robot.
It gets tough. It gets tough because if you want to go all the way in on a player, it's like actually he can't skate. Like, oh well,
that's good.
All right, what am I supposed to do with that?
Right.
I need a guy that stays healthy and gets the job done. And
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about Tuch. I don't think it becomes you can't sign him. I don't know if the term change. Maybe they've got two different deals on the table, and Tuch likes this one and Jarmo likes this one, and they both go to the offseason really dug in. And does Tuch feel like his value has dropped because of this series? No. You're the Seattle Kraken. You're willing to give him $64 million last week. Are you still?
That's the thing is I think the value drops here. I don't think it drops anywhere
Which
else.
means it doesn't drop anywhere.
Right.
Which means, if you want to try and sign that guy to a contract and not hit the market or to be competitive, if his value didn't drop in the market, then it doesn't drop here in terms of what he thinks he should get. Now, what you're willing to pay, maybe that's where you're saying that it would.
Right.
I don't think it's an easy conversation.
No, but I feel the same way I have felt about it since we've been talking about trading him, which is like, okay, good player, older, really effective. I get all the locker room stuff. That all matters. If there's an opportunity to get younger and, sustain essentially the same player or upgrade in some way, then you do it. And you find your way to do that. And I think that I feel the exact same way about it now. If you think that you can use the money you would get from letting him go to land Robert Thomas or somebody like that level of player, then that is your move. Especially now after the playoffs that he's had so far, where it's, Boston was great. He was awesome. And now it's bad.
Yep.
It is bad now. And you've got to, there are hard decisions to be made. And that's what ruthless organizations do. You say, this is what happens. These older guys get their contracts and they figure it out. They also get let go from good teams. And,
or moved out because they feel like they can't win with that guy.
Exactly.
And honestly, and if I could, sorry, but just jump on this point. Why, when McDermott gets fired, let's make a crossover comparison. What do people point to? Tony Dungy got fired by the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Like, a certain player at a certain position will only get you so far. Something's got to change. This is year one. Like, something's got to change appetite, to me, would not be all that voracious an appetite.
No.
And I tweeted out the question again, which feels more true of the Sabres-Canadian series, a rough series or major flaws? And Travis Yost has responded to this. Travis, he's on the show all the time, Hockey at TSN. He wrote, I think it's just a bad series. Tage Thompson's been horrific, outscored 8-1 at even strength. Tuch not much better. Your best players are getting clocked. That's a bad series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And back to the Dungy point, as long as we live in a world in the NHL where the Florida Panthers decided Jonathan Huberdeau, our all-time franchise leading scorer, is not good enough, we're going to send him away from Matthew Tkachuk, and then they won cups. That is going to be brought up endlessly for any team that hits a ceiling.
Right.
The Leafs hit a ceiling, and it was Marner. We're no on him. He's got to go, and now they're going to do a total teardown. And the Sabres are very much not, I don't think, at exhaustion from hitting a ceiling. This is year one.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I want to make very clear, for anyone that thinks, wow, it sounds really bleak today, this is the midst of a series.
Right.
Next week, if they get knocked out in 6 or in 7 games, we're going to reflect and say, heck of a season. Let's see where they can take it from here. But today is the day to talk about it like they lost a game at home by 1 million goals again.
Right. to go down 3-2, and now their back's against the wall. It's going to sound bleak. Sorry, guys.
It's going to sound bleak.
It's the reality of the situation.
You're gonna turn next week and be like, all right, you know what? I tweeted last night, I'm so glad we have all this.
Right. It's awesome.
I'm still very thankful.
Even this part is awesome.
Yeah.
This is great.
Right,
I mean, go listen to our shows after Game 3 and then after Game 4. How different do those shows sound? We were in shambles after they went down 2-1. It was horrible. And then they tie it up, and it's like, oh, we're alive. Here we are. And, now we're back to in shambles. This is the ride, everybody.
Right.
This is what we have signed up for. And so, don't get on us about sounding too bleak here.
If they win Game 6 and we come in Monday morning, and not only are we planning for a Game 7, but it's also 86 outside.
Are you kidding?
Get ready for moods that are going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
Ryan in Buffalo. Ryan, good morning.
It sounds like everyone's having a lot of fun this morning, myself included.
Yeah.
So I wasn't calling about Tuch, but you guys are talking about it. It's got me thinking. So I truly think it's one of two things. I mean, it has to be. He's either hurt or he's not trying. And I don't think it's that he's not trying. So I have to imagine he's hurt. Game 1, I was at the game with my cousin. Obviously, it was a great environment, and we dominated, right? So just how I act with my cousin, we're kind of joking around, what about Tuch? He looks a little casual out there tonight. And then Game 2 happens, and we're literally screaming the word casual at the TV. And I just have to imagine, now that we're at this point, it's gotten worse. I can't even believe what I'm watching. It just looks like he's rounding off. He's not his skating. It looks like he's actually not trying, but I can't believe that would be true, just knowing who he's been on this team for years. But the reason why I was calling was Jeremy asked, are we, is this who we are, or are we the team that we thought we were? And I think we're still the team that we thought we were. But we're still in a 3-2 series in the second round of the playoffs with our top two players being major detractors to our team. We know they're still great players. So if they just play average, we're in business, and probably and then some. So that's really the only the two players that have to just get it going, and everything flips, in my opinion. But I think they got to be hurt, because I can't even believe what my eyes are seeing, because it's just shocking.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. In terms of are they are they still the team we think we thought they were? You know what I'm getting at. You used the phrase there. Yeah. The team that they are is not Colorado. The team that they are could lose in a 6 or 7 game series to Montreal. So none of this is all that shocking. It's just disappointing to see the way that it's gone down. And it's also, I feel like the score of a game doesn't really matter how you lose. If you lost 3-2 in overtime, or you lost 6-3 because all of a sudden in the second period it turned on a dime and it was bang, bang, you're going to lose this game. Is it really any different? Probably not. But in the way that you feel about the series, I've got 3 games where Montreal just pulled away and then was able to go into cruise control. And for the Sabres, that happened, I guess, in Game 1. And the other one they had to really sweat. So,
right.
I don't know. The penalties, you've got bad penalties, you've got undisciplined play again. It's just tough. Power play has not been a major disappointment in this series. It's been fine for the most part, maybe a little bit of luck. Goaltending, that's the thing I wonder about. I wonder, what would Jarmo say about this team? Off the record. I got to get better here and here. I got to make sure this player. Stanley and Shen and Tanner Pearson are his deadline, and Sam Carrick are his deadline acquisitions. He was gunning for Colton Parayko. That's a different caliber of acquisition.
Very.
So, what will he shoot for in the offseason? I'm gonna think he's gonna shoot big, because he thinks his team has a lot of good players.
Yeah, I think he is absolutely gonna look for a splash in the offseason, because listen, where are the Sabres right now in their sort of arc? They're in year 1 of becoming a playoff team and a contender, and the window has just creaked open here. Think about what they've got ahead of them now. They've got a bunch of guys signed, and they've got a bunch of young kids on entry-level deals. So they have got a window in here to add and try to capitalize on that. They've got a great deal in Tage. They've got a number one defenseman who's locked up and is their captain. They've got all kinds of talent being infused throughout the lineup on super cheap deals. And so that means you've got room to play around and find, you got an extra, what's Benson going to make when his deal kicks in? 7, 8?
You would think.
9? It could be anything at this point. Doan is at a reasonable number for a really good production player. And so, that's a spot that a GM does not often get to play around in. And I think when you get there, you've got to be ready to jump on it, because that is as good an opportunity as you could ever want as a GM. I'm set up here with players for right now, players for the future, and I've got room. What else are you asking for?
And now you're picking so far down that, like, any idea of, like, you always get in this trap. You would never trade a top 3 pick. And if you're picking, like, 12th, like, well, it's a really important player. That's where the Bensons come from. Like, they built this team off of picking in the mid-first. And, I don't know, is he going to trade his first-round pick? Is he going to trade multiple firsts? Is he going to offer sheet somebody? Is he going to trade – whatever, anybody. The series is not over.
No.
But I don't think it's nuts at all that whenever it did end, we were going to talk about what are the steps you take to get better as soon as you can, because it's worth getting better now.
Right.
Sabres teams forever in the drought would act like you had to have some very specific special formula that you couldn't risk upsetting in order to grow very organically. Well, that all finally happened, spurred on by a couple of trades, and now's the time to, really kind of aggressively prune and figure out which way you're going to go.
Right. Now it's time to do the ruthless carving.
After this series.
Yes.
If they don't win it.
Right.
Which they could.
Sorry.
They still could. Lee in Buffalo. Hey, Lee.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I thought Chris Chelios and Anson Carter made a couple very good points after that game yesterday. Chelios came out and said that he thought the Sabres were the better team 5-on-5, but Anson Carter also said that the only thing that's hurting the Sabres right now are 2 things: goaltending and the slow players, the couple slow players the Sabres have on the back end. As far as, like, Josh Norris, and I will throw Alex Tuch out there. I like Alex Tuch, but it just seems like the way he was explaining was Montreal is a little faster, and they're 2 teams that are spit image of each other. And then my other thing here is you guys are all talking about Alex Tuch's contract, which I would give maybe just a 1 or 2 year deal.
No, that's not possible. You're not going to get that.
I understand that, but also you guys are mentioning what are they planning on doing with Lindy Ruff. His contract is up, and people have to realize there were 5 or 6 coaches that came through here and didn't do exactly what he did. So they got a big decision to make with him.
Well, thanks, Lee. I bet that decision is his. If he wants to coach, he's going to keep coaching.
Right.
I don't think it's 100% would be my guess. You want to stay? You can stay. If he decides he wants to retire, the good news on that front is I think the job is now a job you could sell to a real candidate.
Oh, yeah.
Just like players and no trade coaches that wouldn't have touched this organization because of 14 years this and that, and are there good enough players, and what's my season ticket base? I mean, all that's, I think that's been, a lot of that has been repaired.
Yes, absolutely.
You could probably get a guy. Like, could you get Bruce Cassidy now if you wanted to? Vancouver?
Cassidy's probably the hottest name out there.
But I'm just saying, like, he's going to go to Vancouver. What do you think?
Edmonton.
Edmonton. So that's right, Edmonton. Yeah. He's going to go to Edmonton
or LA or Toronto.
Could you get Bruce Cassidy? All right, maybe not. Could you get Craig? Could you get Craig Berube, who you couldn't get last time?
I think yes.
Maybe. Could you get? Again, I'm not replacing Lindy, but if Lindy wants to step away, I think the opportunity to get a real coach, a reputable coach, and not just elevate Seth Appert, if that's what they plan to do, I think you could probably get one.
I totally agree.
And what was the other part? And Tuch and Norris are not slow players that are killing them.
No.
There are maybe some players that can't keep up in this series.
Sure.
I think Montreal has more high-end skill that looks like high-end skill.
Yeah.
And the Sabres' best players right now are guys that are doing it with dogged determination mixed with skill. And Montreal's best players are, well, they're plenty determined, but they've got right now what looks like a higher skilled team. And when the Sabres are at their best, they don't look like there's a gap between these two.
No, exactly, because when they're at their best, their top players are playing well, and they're not. And so you're getting great performances from Benson and Doan, like all-time great performances. If you combined what Benson and Doan are doing with an average series from the top line, I think you're really tough to beat. But you're getting 0 from the top line. You're getting negative from the top line. So then the Benson and Doan performances are irrelevant.
Someone wrote in, like, Tage in this series is Josh against Denver. It's like, Josh had a second half, too.
Right.
Like, he was good. He was great, of course, in the second half. So I don't think it's the same. Like, Josh nearly pulled it out of the fire. And if the Sabres are going to advance in 7 games in this series, they really might need Thompson and Tuch to pull it out of the fire. Yeah. 803-0550. We will talk with Paul at 8 o'clock. If you have a thought on the schedule, the Bills' schedule's out. We've never cared less about the schedule announcement.
No.
But that's okay. That's okay. Good to get those on the board, see where the games are, book some flights. I know some of you already booked your flights. The Vegas trip is looking like a good one if you want to go on that. 803-0550 on WGR. And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right? That's it.
Well,
You're done. Sorry. You peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun when you're playing bad teams. Everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then, who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know that, all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like, the 4th and 5th goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobish, he gave up bad goals, and they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really
horrible.
Bad goals. And what did he do?
Stabilized.
Yep. And Luukkonen gave up some goals that weren't even necessarily bad, but maybe unlucky on some level.
Super unlucky. I have no problem with him on the first two.
And goaltender is, I've been your worst players at 5-on-5 are your top line.
I saw a chart yesterday with some of their numbers.
Have you got a 31% goal share in this series? Expected goal share? Yeah, like your top line is if it's your top line, they're your worst players. And you want to almost remove Krebs from that because I don't think Krebs is playing poorly. I think he's with 2 players that are, right?
Yeah, he's never going to be the driver of whatever's happening on that line. I think that whatever's happening on that line, he's going to kind of go with. If they're struggling, he's going to struggle. If they're playing well, he'll probably be fine. It's going to be pretty rare that he's on the other end of whatever Tuch and Thompson are doing.
Yeah.
So the blame definitely lays with those 2 guys, and
there it is. Krebs, Tuch, Thompson, a 31% expected goal share in this series. 31.
That's just
Norris, Benson, Doan, 54%.
Yeah. Which is a good number.
Yep. Helenus, Jaquin, Zucker, 75%.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they have a bunch of lines that have done well. They're really getting killed.
But their top line, who plays the most, isn't good right now and can't produce for them. And you can't live with it.
We've reached do or die. The Buffalo Sabres rolling to start Game 5 up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there, and Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR. Pre-game at 7. Looking around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills schedule has been officially released. For all the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com, and around the NFL. Speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, dealing with the knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering to move on from TJ Watt in 2027. Join Brian Koziel from 2 to 5 this Saturday at Batavia Downs as he broadcasts live for the Preakness Stakes. Check out the Preakness parties and specials at BataviaDownsGaming.com. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel, the area's premier entertainment destination. Those are your Paddock Chevrolet sports headlines. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Pass up on the left wing side. Sabres gain the line. To the middle of the ice. Helenius holds it. Turns. Fires. Scores! It's raining goals in Buffalo. And the Sabres take a 3-2 lead with 9:45 still to go here in the opening period.
One of your first moments of the game. The moments in your life go forth to Firth Jewelers. Sabres lose. They had a 3-2 lead, and they had a 1-0 lead, a 2-1 lead, and a 3-2 lead, and lost it all. Although none of those leads really felt all that safe. I shouldn't say that. At 3-2 and starting the second period when Tage goes in on the breakaway, that felt like the culmination of like, all right, here's where they put this team away. They didn't, and Montreal gets a couple of cheap ones and wins. And the Sabres have another home loss and head to Montreal for tomorrow night's Game 6, 8 p.m. to try and advance the series. Fun question in the chat on our YouTube channel. You can join us on YouTube. You can watch every morning. Hey, hi. Here's the question brought up by one of the a listener, viewer in the chat. Which would you take as more likely right now? The Sabres to win in 7 or the Bills to make the AFC Championship game?
Whoa.
I think that's almost a perfect question.
It is.
Which is more likely? The Sabres just have to win two games, and the Bills, who are a favorite, to make the AFC Championship game. Maybe the question that was intended was, will they win go to the Super Bowl? And I think make the game is about right.
The right way.
The Bills are 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. Okay? So, I mean, like, if you're just going to split that, is that 5-1 to make it and 2.5-1, 3-1 to make the AFC Championship game, maybe?
Right.
Mm-hmm. The Sabres right now are plus 300 to win the series. So, which is more likely?
I would probably lean Sabres in 7.
It's just two wins.
It's just 2 wins.
And the Bills, a lot of things can go right, a lot of things can go wrong.
You never know in a
I just
football
think
season.
it was a fun question. Is we've got the schedule here. You're looking at the schedule.
Yeah, that's a really good
new
question.
Coaching staff.
I think there's just too much, almost more than the amount of games it is the time. Like, there's just too much that could go wrong in the amount of time.
Right.
Injuries, anything like that can derail it.
A million things.
Right. Whereas this is right in front of the Sabres.
Yeah, win 2
just
games.
go win 2 games over 4 days.
Win 2 games against a team you have already beaten twice.
Right.
Once here, once there.
4 times. You beat them twice in the regular season, too, right?
803-0550. And Montreal has, remember that record? They're like 1-1 in their last 2.
Yeah, they
7-7.
split,
Now they're 8-8 in their last 14 or whatever it is. Last 16. We got to hope that holds up. That stat we had the other day. Kevin in Plattsburgh. Kevin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Love your show. Thanks. I listen every day.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I love the playoffs. It's such a hard road, and I'm not one to criticize. Because I see these guys are out there. They work so hard to get there. Love this team, and I know these guys are busting their butt. But last night's game was just different for me for some reason. I was mad. I was angry by the end of that. And, I'll tell you one reason. Leave Tucky alone, okay? Tucky is a wily veteran. He's smart. He's doing all the little things. He's hustling. He's blocking shots. He's playing the PK. Tage Thompson, my goodness. You got these young kids. You got Helly out there, Benner. These guys are busting their butt. They're making crafty plays. They're working the boards. They're working so hard. And you see this guy coasting. And when he took that dumb penalty that may have cost us the game, again, how many dumb penalties, every time this guy touches the puck, he is a liability. It's embarrassing to see these young kids, Donor, everybody is working so hard. Power had another great game. I hope he's okay. Dolls, I didn't like his penalty, but at least he's defending the net and he's being tough. But this Tage Thompson, what a liability. And, I'll tell you, too,
I guess I just don't know how you would separate Tuch from Thompson in terms of which one deserves a pass and which one deserves to be called out. How would you decide which is which?
Yeah, well, I think Tuch, first of all, I got a lot of respect for Tuch. He's done it a long time, and you look at this,
but that kind of doesn't matter. Like, we're in this series, what you did 6 years ago, wherever you were, like, it's, we're in the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, I mean, Lindy said it himself. Tuch doesn't have the confidence right now, but I feel like, one nice play and he's back in the saddle. But Tage, he's got a couple of total flukes, right?
It might just be. I'll answer for you, Kevin. Here, I'm get some other calls. The penalties. I mean, Tuch's not taking penalties, and Tage is taking stupid penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So Tuch is hurting his team when he's on the ice, and Tage is hurting his team when he's on the ice, and he's also hurting his team by going off the ice and into the box.
Right.
Is he a net -4 on penalties, Tage? He has taken 6 and drawn 2.
Yeah.
And
the one last night is as bad as you can.
What I have from Tage is not only getting dominated when he's on the ice, but a net -8 minutes of power play time for Montreal, which, I mean, Montreal 5-on-5 has not been demonstrably better than the Sabres in this series, but the power play is definitely lethal.
Yeah.
And they draw, whether they draw momentum from that or they just draw actual goals from that.
Yeah, it almost doesn't matter if they draw momentum because they score all the time.
Right, but I mean, I think it's real tough to defend Tuch as it's okay, he's been there before. When he's on the ice, it's 8-0 at even strength for Montreal. So, he does all the little things, and Tage is the problem. I think the only thing I'd really notice as a difference is the penalties.
Yeah.
Tage takes the penalty, and then Tuch has to go kill the penalty.
Right. And then, sometimes get scored on the kill. The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those 2 penalties that Tage and Dahlin, your 2 guys.
Again. That's the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What they had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take it.
No. Benson took the only.
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway,
whatever. He has taken his fair share too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those 2 penalties by those 2 players, Tage and Dahlin, are the 2 goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the 2 power plays that your 2 best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross check away from the play. Nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those 2 guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they are the guys that burned you.
John in Tennessee is up. Hey, John.
Good morning, boys.
Morning.
I heard you guys like a lot of chaos.
Sometimes chaos is good.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Chaos played, he had a long break, and he came in and shut somebody out.
Colton Chaos, 37 saves against Columbus, right?
Yes, sir.
Owen, is it Colton Chaos time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not?
I mean, it's not his time. I understand the fun that could be, and maybe the same reason that you might think Luukkonen because of the high ceiling, you might think Ellis, but no, it's just the environment will be too crazy, and it will be it's just not. Everything
what they said about Helenius, right?
I was just going to say, everything you heard about Helenius, Helenius, I'm saying it the old way now. Helenius was it's going to be too big a spot. I think if there's any position and anything that could be a real solid case for, it's that position in Montreal in an elimination game. That place on Saturday night will be. There aren't going to be the words to describe what that environment is going to be like for these.
It'll probably be like it was in Game 6 of the first round when they lost.
Right,
they lost,
but it'll be even crazier because it's the second. It will be
maybe
the second round.
You're in they missed the playoffs last year, they make the playoffs last year. They lose in 5 games. Mm-hmm. They get in and they're at home to knock out Tampa at home in Game 6 for their first playoff series win with this group. I understand the stakes are higher.
Right.
I don't know. Does a person that's at the game yell? Do they save a level of volume in round 2 than Game 1? Maybe. I'm just saying they lost that game in the first round. So
they did. They did.
As crazy as that would be, you think Game 6 of the first round was more crazy than Game 3 of this round? They lost it. I'm leaving it open.
It's a good question.
They did lose.
Absolutely.
Is there too much pressure on them? Do they need to pretend they're on the road? Jim in Grand Island. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it's a very disappointing morning. But, and the thing, you guys are reading my notes. The stupid penalties, to me, were probably, like I say, the turning point. I mean, after Hellenis's head was almost cross-checked off in the last game, don't you think the refs were going to be looking out for cross-checking penalties possibly that would be addressing something like that? And then you have Thompson and Dahlin both do it. It was like, it's like, guys, what are you thinking?
Yep.
Yeah, and like I say, it just got to the thing. Definitely, to me, that was the turning point of the game, just like you guys said. And just like my notes said, I was sitting here looking at you guys spying on my notes. No, but that was the big thing to me is that stupid penalties, and like I say, the Thompson and Tuch kind of being like ghosts out there. They're not.
It's also
not producing.
Thanks, Jim. It's also that Montreal, like again, you say the game turned there. I kind of can't believe they let Dobich find his game. Like you had him. You really had him. He was
totally. He was swimming.
Yes,
he was swimming.
Yep.
2 5-hole goals. The one from Helenius was
rough.
I mean, horrible. That goal is unacceptable to give up, and yet they find a way.
He made that save on the breakaway.
He makes that save on the breakaway. Exactly. That is. You want to talk about? I said this last night. That's an example of when a goalie can make their presence felt. I talk about that all the time on this show, about there are moments within a game that a goaltender's play matters more, and that was his moment, and he made the save, and that was it. And when Luukkonen could have had his moment and stopped a real push from Montreal, he gave up 2 softies.
Tuch's quotes from last night, he said, among other things, I can't play the way I'm playing right now. Just going to be will and determination, but I've got to move past it. I've got to move on to the next game. I've got to be better for the guys in this room. Decision-making's got to be cleaned up a little bit. I guess skate a little harder, a little faster, just need more of everything. That's Alex Tuch. Yeah. At 5-on-5 in this series, that Krebs-Thompson-Tuch line has been outscored 5-0, outchanced 31-17. And the Canadians have earned a 69% expected goal share against the Sabres' top line. 803-0550 to join us. On the Sabres, on the Bills' schedule, Bills in the AFC Championship game or the Sabres to win this series. It's probably right around the same line, but it's got to be the Sabres more likely. Just 2 games. Win 2 games, Win 2 games. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's back on Monday here on WGR. So that escalated quickly. The Sabres, if you put it this way, if you missed the start of the game and you turned it on at about the halfway point of the second period and then watched the game from there, you'd be like, wow, Montreal owns these dudes.
Yeah.
They absolutely bodied the Sabres. And then you would ask your friend, hey, I missed the first 30 minutes. What happened? I saw there were a lot of goals. And that person would say, oh, yeah, a lot of goofy goals, and the Sabres look like they're going to walk them out of the building.
Right.
It looked like the Sabres were going to win that game by 4.
Correct.
In the second period, while they're up 3-2. And then,
it got real loose.
It got real bad real fast.
Really fast.
Real bad real fast. And is that a team that is, afraid that it's not their night, afraid that goofy bounces are going in, afraid that they can't trust the goaltender that's in the net? I don't know. It could be a lot of those things.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
A lot of those things. It's there's going to be a lot to get to, of course, today. And the series is not over. It's going to be difficult to not sound like it's over.
Yeah.
Because we now have a third game where for basically half of it, it is Montreal caving them in.
Yeah.
Which they have not done to Montreal since the first 30 minutes of Game 1. And we are now heading to Game 6. And since the first 30 minutes of Game 1, the Sabres have not had a stretch of hockey where they are A, good, and B, caving Montreal in.
Yeah,
I guess you could say like first 10 minutes of Game 5.
There have been moments where they've been playing well. Game 4. There have been moments where they look like they're playing well, but so is Montreal. And I feel like what has happened is there have been that has happened early in these games, and then all of a sudden the Sabres lose it and Montreal keeps it, and it's Montreal now using the Sabres as a punching bag for the last half of the game, and it's been tough. That's happened a few times here, and it's hard not to just sort of like maybe they're not as good as that team.
Yeah.
Because
they don't have the depth the same way that Montreal does.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
It certainly is going to look like you're not as good as that team when that team got through a series without its star players playing well.
Right.
That's the Tampa series. And then those star players came to this series, and they're playing well.
Very. And the Sabres are not.
No, it's bad.
Their top players are hurting them actively.
It's bad. Your worst players at 5-on-5 are your top line.
That's I saw a chart yesterday with some of their numbers.
Have you got a 31% goal share in this series? Expected goal share? Yeah, like your top line is if it's your top line, they're your worst players. And you want to almost remove Krebs from that because I don't think Krebs is playing poorly. I think he's with two players that are. Right?
Yeah, I mean he's never going to be the driver of whatever's happening on that line. I think that whatever's happening on that line, he's going to kind of go with. If they're struggling, he's going to struggle. If they're playing well, he'll probably be fine. It's going to be pretty rare that he's on the other end of whatever Tuch and Thompson are doing.
Yeah.
So the blame definitely lays with those two guys, and
there it is. Krebs, Tuch, Thompson. A 31% expected goal share in this series. 31.
That's just...
Norris, Benson, Doan, 54%.
Yeah. Which is a good number.
Yep. Helenus, Jequin, Zucker, 75%.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, they have a bunch of lines that have done well. They're really getting killed.
But their top line, who plays the most, isn't good right now and can't produce for them, and you can't live with it.
The NHL did announce that if the Sabres are able to force Game 7, that'll be Monday at 7:30. And this is the only series left in this second round. Yeah. Also, we have the schedule. If the NHL had this too, where if it goes 7 or if it's in 6, when the series will start. I don't know if you saw this. This is not exactly like the tone today because, they lost.
It's nice to get a schedule or of something, though, multiple days in advance instead of the day before.
If the Sabres are to force a Game 7 and win or lose, whatever, if it goes 7, the Eastern Conference Final begins Thursday, May 21st. Mm-hmm. If Montreal closes things out tomorrow night, then the Eastern Conference Final begins Tuesday, May 19th. And every other game is pretty much lined up. It's going to be an every other game series in the Eastern Conference Final. But if the Sabres win, if you're thinking, do I have to block off any days next week because I think they're going to find a way and win this series, start on the 21st and go every other day. That's the schedule. Thursday, the 21st. So you'd win it Monday, have Tuesday, Wednesday off, and go to Carolina for Game 1. See? We're talking about it being possible.
Absolutely.
I'm tuning in on Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping they don't have to shake hands. You could stave off elimination. Boston did it to the Sabres. Chance to close out at home. That building's going to be amazing. What happens? They lost. Montreal had a chance to close out Tampa. That building's going to be amazing. What happened? They lost. So maybe playing on the road is better for this team. They've played their best hockey on the road. They've not played their best hockey at KeyBank Center, and last night was not their best hockey. We'll talk about it with Paul Hamilton coming up. Your calls as well. 803-0550. It's Jeremy and Joe. Last day of Joe's leave. He's back on Monday. Hopefully we have a hockey team still to talk about, or at least hockey season, I should say. In the meantime, hang with us. Paul Hamilton next with your calls on WGR. So that escalated quickly. The Sabres, if you put it this way, if you missed the start of the game and you turned it on at about the halfway point of the second period and then watched the game from there, you'd be like, wow, Montreal owns these dudes.
Yeah.
They absolutely bodied the Sabres. And then you would ask your friend, hey, I missed the first 30 minutes. What happened? I saw there were a lot of goals. And that person would say, oh, yeah, a lot of goofy goals, and the Sabres looked like they're going to walk them out of the building.
Right.
It looked like the Sabres were going to win that game by 4.
Correct.
In the second period, while they're up 3-2. And then,
it got real loose.
It got real bad real fast.
Really fast.
Real bad real fast. And is that a team that is, afraid that it's not their night, afraid that goofy bounces are going in, afraid that they can't trust the goaltender that's in the net? I don't know. It could be a lot of those things.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
A lot of those things. It's there's going to be a lot to get to, of course, today. And the series is not over. It's going to be difficult to not sound like it's over.
Yeah.
Because we now have a third game where for basically half of it is Montreal caving them in.
Yeah.
Which they have not done to Montreal since the first 30 minutes of Game 1. And we are now heading to Game 6. And since the first 30 minutes of Game 1, the Sabres have not had a stretch of hockey where they are A, good, and B, caving Montreal in.
Yeah.
I guess you could say like first 10 minutes of Game 5.
There have been moments where they've been playing well.
Game
4. There have been moments where they look like they're playing well, but so is Montreal. And I feel like what has happened is there have been that has happened early in these games, and then all of a sudden the Sabres lose it and Montreal keeps it. And it's, Montreal now using the Sabres as a punching bag for the last half of the game. And it's been tough. That's happened a few times here. And it's hard not to just sort of like, maybe they're not as good as that team.
Yeah.
Because
they don't have the depth the same way that Montreal does.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
It certainly is going to look like you're not as good as that team when that team got through a series without its star players playing well.
Right.
That's the Tampa series. And then those star players came to this series, and they're playing well.
Very.
So,
and the Sabres are not.
No, it's bad.
Their top players are hurting them actively.
It's bad.
The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those two penalties that Tage and Dahlin, like
again,
your two guys.
Again. That's the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Like, away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What they had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take a penalty.
No, Benson took the only
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been, because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway.
Whatever. He has taken his fair share too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those two penalties by those two players, Tage and Dahlin, are the two goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the two power plays that your two best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross check away from the play. Like, nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those two guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they're the guys that burned you.
Canadians with numbers down low. Demidov fires, scores from between the circles. And it's a 6-3 Montreal lead with 16:28 to go in the third period.
We've reached do-or-die territory. The Buffalo Sabres rolling to start Game 5, up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there. The Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance at Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR. Pregame at 7. Around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills schedule has been officially released. For all the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com. And around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, who's been dealing with a knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering moving on from TJ Watt in 2027. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Show Up with the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Paul Hamilton.
Guys, how are you?
He keeps the people coming back for more.
My Uber dropped me at the wrong terminal, so I had to wait for a bus.
On WGR.
All right. Paul Hamilton joining us. His appearance brought to you by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out. He's on leave. He'll be back on Monday. We'll see if the Sabres have a Game 7 on Monday. Paul, Game 6, I'll kind of say it this way because I was, kids at home, juggling bedtimes. If I had watched 3-2 and then the first 10 minutes of the second period and hit pause and then accidentally fast-forwarded until I go, what? They lost 6-3. They were great. What happened? It escalated quickly, Paul. They looked like they were fine, and then they were very much not fine.
Yeah, it's rare you see a team play that well. Now, Montreal did hang in there, but the Sabres were playing well. Montreal got a goofy bounce to get a goal, but they were hanging in, which actually they needed to hang in. But the Sabres played a lot of north-south hockey, a lot of guys at the net, shooting to the net, getting guys to the net, winning battles, just all the things, playing fast, just all the things that make them who they are. And then just to see it totally reverse in the second period. And there's a very, very obvious turning point to me. I mean, Tuch Thompson walks in on a breakaway, puts on the move, and has a play that he has scored on so many times. Basically just getting the puck up and over the goalie. I mean, that's his move. He does that, and usually the puck is up and over the goalie in the net, and you're on your way. Now, if he scores there at 4-2, the place is going crazy still. How does that change the conversation we're having right now? Because now the Sabres are up again, and all right, they just got the goal to get their 2-goal lead back, and Thompson scores for them, and it's just, he's had so many problems handling the puck in this series. He does have 4 points in 5 games, but the other side of the coin, he's been on the ice for way too many goals against. And that's been the problem when you're -8 and you have 4 points. It's just how many turnovers have he directly gone to that he is over stick handled, and the Montreal goes the other way, and Montreal takes advantage of those situations, and it seems like the Sabres don't. And Lindy Ruff said that again after the game last night, that he goes, when we make the mistake, Montreal takes advantage. He goes, we do not take advantage of their mistakes like they take advantage of ours.
Paul Tage, it's no doubt that top line has been getting caved in. How would you advise anyone to handle it with regard to, is he playing injured? Is he just playing poorly? hockey kind of presents you with this impossible problem. Am I supposed to be mad about it? Am I supposed to feel like it's unlucky because he's dealing with something? How do you do it?
Yeah, because you don't know if he's dealing with anything. You don't know if Tuch is dealing with something. I mean, he goes from having a very good series against Boston. I mean, Thompson was their best player in Game 6 against Boston, and I don't even think it was close. I mean, he had a great game. And the whole team played really well against Boston in that Game 6. And Tuch had 7 points in 6 games, and now he comes into the next series and has no points. And that's the thing. I mean, Caulfield is outplaying Thompson. Suzuki is outplaying Tuch. Hudson is outplaying Dahlin. And that's a problem. I mean, when all their better players are outplaying your better players, I mean, I've said it to you so many times, and I got this from our friend Dave Burkholder. It's so true. I mean, your best players have to be your best players if you're going to be a successful team. And Montreal's best players have woken up and now are playing like their best players, and the Sabres' best players are floundering.
Yeah, and not just floundering, Paul. Also, like it'd be one thing if you were just slumping and unable to put the puck in the net, but I mean, for a number of these players, we're talking about actively kind of killing this team.
They are, and Lindy Ruff addressed what Alex Tuch needs to do. He feels Alex Tuch has lost some of his confidence. He goes, he's not moving his feet. You don't really see him in the offensive zone in battles or anything. You don't really see him get too many scoring opportunities. They're on the ice when the other team is scoring goals. And in some cases, they're directly responsible for with turnovers. So it's not like it's over. You still have another chance, and you have another chance on the road where you're 4-1 this year. And, Montreal had a chance to eliminate Tampa Bay in a Game 6. And Tampa Bay, it was a 0-0 game going into overtime, and Tampa Bay won that game to force the Game 7. And then Montreal won the Game 7 on the road, being outshot 29-9, but still found a way to win a hockey game. So, as I said before Game 4, all is not lost here.
Yep.
I mean, if you win a game, you're back tied again, and you got the seventh and deciding game in your building. And somebody might say, yeah, you're 2-4 in your building, so why is that such a good thing? But they were taking advantage of the home crowd yesterday, which they hadn't in some of the other games until they weren't. I mean, they got the fans into it. The fans are going crazy. They're scoring goals. I mean, the place is rocking. The Sabres seem to be drawing off the fans finally, where they haven't been able to in some of the other games. And then, as I said, I'll say it again, that breakaway by Thompson, I think, is the turning point in the game.
Paul, of course, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, a big story here as well. A couple of bad breaks early. Like, the number is a big number on the board, but, whether it's a puck that goes off a skate and in or whatever. There were some bad breaks, but there were also some back-breaking goals he gave up.
Yeah, the first 3, I wouldn't get on him at all, but the fourth, when Demidov's shot goes through him, and I don't know if it would have made it over the goal line or not. Evans wins the battle with Krebs rather easily. Evans obviously wanted to get to that puck more than Krebs did, and he got there and popped it into the net, made sure it was going to make it over the goal line. And, yeah, that's a bad goal there, because that turns out to be the game-winning goal. That is the first time Montreal was ahead in the whole game, 4-3 on that goal, and that's a killer. And then the power play goal, where it's a good shot, but you hope maybe you get a save there. And now you go in at 5-3, and Montreal winds up being 2-for-2 on the power play. I mean, you did reduce your penalties, but you still gave up 2 power play goals, even though you reduced the penalties against. And who were the penalties against, and what were they for? 2 of your guys that have to be your better players.
Yeah.
And there they are sitting in the penalty box cross-checking. Whether they're dives or they go down easy or whatever it is, you are still taking your stick in a cross-checking motion. And, again, whether they go down easy doesn't matter. I mean, and it was only 2. It wasn't 7 or anything like that, but you got scored out on both of them.
Paul, with regard to Luukkonen, like you mentioned, the first couple are not on him. Maybe it's 4 and 5. Do you feel like it's a bigger picture thing with him? Because whether or not it's fully deserved or earned, or you could dive deeply into numbers to suggest it. I feel like a lot of the fan base has a little bit of it's always something with him. There's always the potential for these types of back-breaking goals to go in. And again, like, goalies give up goals. It's how it happens. Do you feel like this was a moment in the story of him and his future with this franchise?
But when he got rolling, starting on December 9th, that stuff wasn't happening. He for a lot of that time was leading the National Hockey League in save percentage. And those types of goals weren't happening to him for the most part. I mean, every now and then every goalie's going to let it every now and then. But it seemed like he had gotten that out of his game, as they went forward in December and January and February and March and April. And he wins the first game of the playoffs against Boston, but then he has that period, where he had the one bad period and one. He lets the puck from the red line bounce in front of him. He tried not to. He tried to get out there to prevent the bounce, but he didn't get there, and the thing bounced and it hit the ice and wound up going by him. And maybe that's what started it again. I don't know, but it seemed to me like he had gotten that out of his game for a long period of time.
Do you anticipate changes on the blue line? I mean, Connor Timmins involved in a couple of these big giveaways and mistakes, and
yes.
They've juggled things on the back. Is Lindy going to get desperate, or is Lindy going to get a little bit creative back on the back end in Game 6, you think?
Well, the thing is, here we are with talking about Timmins. Now, Timmins didn't take part in the morning skate as a, quote, maintenance. Is he hurt? I mean, something was there that he didn't participate, but Lindy Ruff said he'd be available for the game. And then he has a game where he didn't play real well. His minutes went way down. Again, now there were 7 power plays, and he played over 7 minutes on the penalty kill the other night, which put his minutes up over 21. But did Lindy Ruff, he's not going to talk about injuries really. So is he hurt, and was that the problem? Or did he just have a bad game? And Lindy Ruff decided, you know what, it's not his night. So let's go with the other guys. And same thing with Power. He did come back, but what is there an injury that's going to affect him now? Lindy Ruff said it is encouraging. At least he came back to the game, but he's been playing awfully well during the playoffs, and that would be a blow to the Sabres if for some reason he isn't able to continue for Game 6.
Paul Hamilton joining us on the Wester Hotline, chatting Sabres and Canadiens Game 5. Game 5. Game 6 will be Saturday. Roy in the car. Roy, you're on with Paul. Hey, go ahead.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
I had a question about Tuch. I know that there's been conversation about has he played himself, out of millions of dollars or whatever, but I was kind of thinking about it the other way. I mean, has Helenius and Ostlund coming out and Benson, has what we've seen from those guys played Tuch out of millions of dollars? Because I see those guys playing, and I'm like, I want them around for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and if I don't want to lose one of them to pay for Tuch.
Well, you probably don't have to pick between the two. But, Paul, to Roy's point about Tuch in this series, no points. I mean, we can talk about Tage struggling, that top line struggling, that he's got to get his feet moving. The million-dollar question is whether or not Jarmo Kekalainen would be watching the series and have reservations about signing Alex Tuch, which, it's a series. You can have a bad series. It's a bad day to have a bad day,
And he can go back and look at Alex Tuch. I think he spent 4 years in the playoffs with Vegas, and he can look, well, what did they get out of Alex Tuch when he was in the playoffs with Vegas? And he can look at the Bruins series, and what did you get out of Alex Tuch in the Bruins series? So does one series mean you're going to give up on a hockey player? I mean, I don't think that Kekalainen is just going to say, well, he had one bad series, so because the other guys aren't going to be out of the picture because Alex Tuch is signed. I mean, I think maybe more to the point, do they trade Norris knowing they have Ostlund and Helenius and try to get that $6 million off the books? so I think that might be the point more than Tuch, possibly as well. Do you decide that Norris? I thought Norris has played better the last couple of games, but it's still not translating into production. I mean, the 35-goal scorer that scored 35 for the Ottawa Senators really hasn't shown us the offensive flair. His defense has been fine, but he is a good two-way player. But when they traded for him, they weren't trading for him to be a defensive forward. They were trading for a guy who can really help the offense and give you a solid two players in your top two lines as far as in the middle. And it just right now has not. So my question would be, is it more towards Norris that would give those guys an opportunity than Tuch?
Paul Hamilton joining us on the Western Hotline. His appearance brought to you by Raylax on Raylax. We got this. Paul, the injury report? We'll do that. You mentioned Owen Power. Anybody else to keep an eye on out of this game that would have picked up a ding?
Timmins, only because he didn't go in the morning skate, and it was called a maintenance. So there's something that they were maintaining. So I would add him to that. Did it affect his game? We don't know. But he didn't play as much as he did, and he did have a turnover that cost him a goal and was late on another play getting over an Anderson goal. So I would add him to that also.
All right. Injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Off to Montreal, Paul, for Game 6. We would anticipate Alex Lyon, right? Like if you lose a game, you give up that many.
Yeah.
Even though Lyon went in and gave one up, right? Like, you think it'll be Lyon? I certainly do.
Yeah, because Lindy Ruff said, and I don't think he was fibbing or anything. I think he meant it, that it wasn't Alex Lyon's fault. It was just basically 9 pucks went in the net, and maybe try to shock the team and try something different. And Luukkonen had his chance, did very well in one game, didn't do as well in the other. So yeah, I would think it's time to put. And Alex Lyon has performed very well on the road this year too.
Paul Hamilton. Thanks, Paul.
No problem. Take care.
Game 6 tomorrow night, 8 p.m. An 8 p.m. Saturday game in Montreal. A raucous atmosphere awaits. Glad to hear Paul talk about how intense it was in there. There's a couple things. Like at the start of the series, I had the thought on the number of Montreal fans coming in. And last night was another game where it's not close at the end, and you get these scenes of Sabres fans left, and all that are left are Montreal fans. And I even saw like a couple Montreal Reds like, look at this scene.
I know.
And it was not that many people.
Yeah, it was like I know.
It was still not that many. I was not in the building last night. You were there. How many Montreal compared to Game 1 or Game 2?
The same.
The same.
It was the same.
It's not that many.
It was just the fact that they lost the game.
I've decided like it's my number one pet peeve because like Montreal is a massive fan base, a massive history, a massive franchise, and that there are actually so few is a testament to how good the fans here actually are. Yes. We are so quick to criticize fans selling their tickets when it's not that many, and it's, be real, one of the easiest trips for Montreal fans to make.
Right.
Like, if they wanted to go take over Colorado, that's work. That's a lot more work for them. There are Montreal fans that have season tickets to this team here. That you're only getting 1,000, 2,000 is a testament to your strength of your fan base. And I just see it nonstop. People that are not going to these games, seeing it on television and deciding, oh, every Sabres season ticket holder sold out. And it's just not reality.
No.
Oh, the fans weren't into this game. The fans let the team down. Not reality. Just not reality. We don't have to flog ourselves over all this nonsense.
Right. Like guys, it's all right. This is the reality of the world, is that there will be people that are going to get in because they're willing to pay a whole bunch of money, and there are some people that won't be able to go, so they got to sell their tickets.
Sure.
And so sorry, that's the way the world
That's
works.
another part of it. Like, you know, if you are someone that splits season tickets and are you required to go to all games, or can you sell some? And if you want to sell some, you try and find people to buy them, whatever. Like, I'm just not here to criticize the selling public at all.
No.
I don't think there was a very large amount of sellers, as we see. And, like, in Montreal, if there are 3,000 tickets for sale to Game 6, guess who will purchase them? Other fans in Montreal, because there are a lot of those people. So, I don't know. I think it's a big headline that is oversold quite a bit. Again, Paul said it. You said it. My wife told me. She's like, the arena was incredible.
It was amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I've got people. I had somebody quote tweet my tweet last night about it being loud. The only time it was loud was when Montreal scored. Like, okay, no, it was. You're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong. You want to play stupid because you want to make fun of the Sabres, then fine. You can go do that, but you're lying. You're lying.
Yep.
If you were there, you know you're lying, and if you weren't, then you may not know that you're lying, but you're wrong. So, maybe figure that out before you start trying to make fun of the team.
803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. Joe's back on Monday. He went to this game.
Yes. Tough.
I went with Joe to game 2 of the Boston series. They lost. Joe, poor Joe. First time they make the playoffs in 14 years.
I know.
He goes to 2 games, and they get throttled in both of them.
Poor guy.
Thank goodness, whatever. Let's pour a little bit out for all the Sabres fans right now. Everyone personally feeling like a jinx.
My old man.
You went to one. Did you only see losses?
Yes.
I went to game 3 or whatever was home here. The second
Montreal.
one, game 2.
Yeah,
game 2, and it was a nightmare.
Thank the hockey gods. My wife and I did the spontaneous last-minute purchase of game 1 of this series, or else I would also be winless, having gone to game 2 of both of them.
That was a huge one for you guys too, because you corrected, right? You both had losses individually.
Yes.
In that one,
she lost game 5 of the first round. I lost game 2 of the first round. I lost game 2 of this round again. Thank goodness. She lost game 5 last night.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these Sabres fans that are trying to blame themselves for being jinxes. Our lives are either yelling at people for selling tickets or blaming ourselves for jinx factors. Yeah.
Ugh.
You got a road win.
I did get a road win.
Listen, I know you can't go to Montreal. You said you've got some. We need you more than ever.
I know.
You got a road win in Boston. We need you. Joe, we need somebody.
It's got to happen. I'm supposed to host 5 to 7 with Joe, but maybe
tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are.
Tomorrow, but maybe what we'll have to do is, the moment my girlfriend's graduation ends, private jet straight to Montreal. Get in there. Puck drops at 8. I got time.
We got crowdfunding. I don't know if we can crowdfund a private jet.
No.
Look at this kid.
I know.
First he goes ahead and takes the leisure of getting 100-level seats.
Right.
And now he's like, what if you guys fly me out there?
Yeah.
Hey, any pilots listening?
My buddy's a pilot, small plane pilot.
I don't care.
Is that the arborist that's the pilot also?
No.
Quick note, speaking of parties. Tonight, we're going to be hanging out at Resurgence, right?
Yes.
We got Bulldogs Happy Hour to raise money for the Ride for Roswell.
Absolutely. I'm going to be there. You're popping by.
We're coming by. The fam is planning on coming by.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great night.
Get out there and see Uncle Chris.
Yeah.
Good times.
For sure.
All right. I'll get some more calls in here. Let's go to Scott in Rochester. Hey, Scott.
Good morning, gentlemen. Question for you. Which Buffalo playoff disappearance performance are you more impressed with? The Sabres' first line against Montreal or the Bills' defensive ends?
Well, I don't know. The Bills have defensive ends that I would think are really on the level of disappearing. I never really think they've got great defensive ends to do it. Yeah, I don't know. People did say it felt like the Bills playoff vibes. I don't know. I don't. It is of course different, like the timelines they're on and all that kind of stuff. So, I just the Bills are, but the schedule at the beginning of the year is a gauntlet. Good news, going to Houston first, perfect. You have what's today, May 15th. You have approximately 3 months to come up with a plan to protect Josh Allen. By 3 months, I mean 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. All right. Maybe no empty backfields. Maybe whatever. Let's go ahead and have a plan for those 2 defensive ends. And good news, Joe Brady can scheme up a bunch of stuff. The MO on Houston is always that they don't even really do that many exotic things. They just line up and play. So go ahead and get Houston early. That's good. Come home, Detroit. It might be tough.
You should beat Detroit. They're favored in Houston. You'll be favored to beat Detroit. You'll be favored to beat the Chargers and the Patriots at home. And then you'll go to the Rams, and, you'd probably be favored depending on what you've done in those first 4 games. So it's a tough road. There's no doubt about that. But, how about 3 straight home games, weeks 2, 3, 4? If you want to get in that stadium early in like the September, October part of the season, 3 straight home games. Usually that's a lot of work. I usually don't like 3 straight home games just because of how much of a commitment it is. But we might see in the early stages of this stadium a lot of kind of like rotating fans. You're a family that sometimes mom and dad go, mom and a kid go, brother, sister go, brothers go, whatever. In the early days of the first year of this stadium, you might have it that everybody wants to get a chance to get in there once, so maybe the 3 home games means, you can rotate it through the family. That's kind of what we do. We've got a lot of tickets, but we rotate them through. 803-0550, we'll get your phone calls in. Did enough of you, I don't think enough of you did. Did you tweet at Howard? Have you tweeted at Howard today to pick the Bills?
No.
Okay.
I've not done
That's
my,
right.
my
Ask yourself if you have done enough in your life. Tweet at Howard. That's at HSimon62. Get at his mentions and tell him that now that the schedule is out, he is due to pick the Bills. Because he is of the belief that he's not doing it anymore. And that's not happening.
Yeah, you tried to dump it off on me.
Yeah, right.
What the?
What? Yeah. Well, are you crazy?
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't stick that on me.
He thinks he's out, and he is not. Definitely not out. So tweet at him.
Never
Let
out.
him know. Tweet at Howard Simon right now to let him know. We'll get a break in. Jeremy and Joe. Owen's here. Joe Calley's here. Are we doing shots of audio 9 o'clock? All right, good.
We are, yes.
Good. We're going to get a little pick-me-up in the 9 o'clock hour. In the meantime, we got an open line for you if you want to join us. Game 6. Backs against the wall. Can't go 7 unless you play into 6, Go win Game 6 in Montreal. Maybe it happens. We'll see on WGR.
The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those 2 penalties that Tage and Dahlin, like your 2 guys.
Again.
That's
the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Like, away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What? They had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take a penalty.
No, Benson took the only
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been, because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway.
Whatever. He has taken his fair share too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those 2 penalties by those 2 players, Tage and Dahlin, are the 2 goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the 2 power plays that your 2 best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross check away from the play. Like, nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those 2 guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they're the guys that burned you.
And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right, that's it.
Well,
You're done. Sorry, you peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun when you're playing bad teams. Everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like those, the 4th and 5th goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobish, he gave up bad goals, and they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really bad
We've
goals.
reached do or die. The Buffalo Sabres were rolling to start Game 5, up 3-2 at one point. They unraveled from there. Montreal wound up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR pregame at 7. Around the NHL playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win last night. They won the series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills schedule been officially released along with the rest of the NFL schedule. For all the details, you can visit the piece up on our website, WGR550.com. And around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons, who's been dealing with a knee injury, is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering moving on from TJ Watt in 2027. You can join Brian Koziel from 2 to 5 on Saturday, Batavia Downs, as he broadcasts live for the Preakness Stakes. Check out the Preakness parties and specials at BataviaDownsGaming.com. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel, the area's premier entertainment destination. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Power jumps a bit lower for a shot. Loose puck in front. Canadians don't clear. Power wants it back. Pass in his skates. Here's Doan with a blast. Scores! Traffic in front for Doan, who rips it home. Only 68.2 on the shot, but it was direct. And we'll see if it was tipped in. It might have been Norris, but it is a 2-1 Buffalo lead.
One of your first moments of the game for the moments in your life go forth to Firth Jewelers. I saw, and I want to bring up one question. I had a question about this. Anyone see the Blade Gang yesterday? Were they there? They make an appearance?
I did not see him on the way in.
Was there any tackling dummy based violence? Did we kind of lose the vibes?
I don't know. I saw a video of them in like a truck bed driving, but that was it. Like I didn't see them at the arena. Sabretooth also repelled. That record's dead now of wins at home.
I know. We got the tooth and 3 first period goals.
Looked good.
Man, if I told you 3 first period goals, you'd have been like, lock it up.
Yeah.
Instead, they lost by 3. That's tough.
That is tough.
Stat of the day. Ready for a stat of the day?
Let's do it.
Hit me.
Time now for the stat of the day, brought to you by Chan Smoke Shop 2 and Gas Mart, where everything about Chan Smoke Shop is smoking.
Stat of the day. This comes from Sportsnet and Sportsnet stats. The Las Vegas Golden Knights won in Game 6, so it's Colorado and Vegas in the Western Conference Final, which means either Colorado or Vegas will play for the Stanley Cup. And that means, barring an injury to either Brett Kulak of the Avalanche or Rasmus Andersson of the Golden Knights, this will be the 46th consecutive season a former teammate of Jaromir Jagr will appear in the Stanley Cup Final. 46 consecutive seasons A former teammate of his in the Stanley Cup Final.
That is incredible.
Is your stat of the day.
Wow.
Yes.
What a career. What a career.
There you go. Bills are playing on Christmas at 4:30. They're playing on Thanksgiving night.
I had somebody in chat with a good point that may make everyone feel a little better.
Okay, we got a bullpen point that's going to make us feel better. Let's go.
If you were to find out or to know before a series started, this will go 7, would you rather lose or win Game 6? That's the situation. If it's going to be 7, they're going to be coming in off a win.
Right.
That could be, I don't mind that. That's a good mentality to have. Like, go get one in Montreal and then finally right the ship on home ice. I like it. Just figured I'd infuse a little positivity. We've been a little...
Sure.
We're catching a lot of flack for being so negative today.
On the chat?
No, I mean, sure. I think in my own mind, I'm upset myself.
Well, listen, I don't know what people expect.
I know.
You win, hooray! You lose, uh-oh. Oh, no.
Chat does also say that the Blade Gang was there. They saw
I got a
around
picture. I just said somebody sent me a picture, too. Blade Gang was there.
Yes.
They were represented.
Yeah.
It was cold. Listen, if they make Game 7, let me check the updated forecast. It's going to be, yesterday the high was 86. Yeah. The high on Monday is 86.
How does a do the show in the morning previewing Game 7, go play 18, and then go get ready for a Sabres playoff Game 7?
There are worse ideas that I've heard of. Yeah. That sounds like a winning combination.
Hopefully they get there.
They got to get there.
That'd be cool.
Thanksgiving, Christmas. What else is on the schedule?
There's a Friday night in there.
Yeah.
A Saturday, one of those.
Saturday against the Bears is in there. The Christmas is a Friday. So, all right, real quick run through the schedule and back to your calls on the Sabres. Opening at the Texans and 3 straight home games. At Rams, at Raiders, short week, right? Monday night and then a Sunday. I bet they stay out there to go at the Rams on Monday night and play the Raiders on Sunday. The bye week is week 7, and you return to play the Ravens at the Vikings on Monday Night Football. In terms of tough road environments, Houston, house of horrors for this team. Rams, that's never that bad. Vegas is probably not that bad. At the Vikings on Monday night, might be tough. At New England, that's a 4:25 game in Week 13. That could be big. They again close out the season, Dolphins and Jets. The good news is, when we're doing all this stuff about the Bills, no matter how the season goes, every single person, are they not going to treat it like those last 2 games are banked wins?
Yes.
You finished Dolphins and Jets.
100%.
Let me pull up New England, their schedule, because their last 2 games, it's probably one of those 2 teams. Their last 2 games are Broncos. Actually, the Bills and Patriots have the same last 3 games. Broncos, Dolphins, Jets, just in a different order. New England goes Jets, Broncos, Dolphins. So whatever the division stands, with 3 games remaining, you'll have the same 3 opponents, Broncos, Dolphins, Jets.
Which should all be that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun.
New England's schedule, you decide, is their first 5 compared to the Bills' first 5? At Seattle, Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville, the Bills, and then home for the Raiders. I think they have a much easier run. Of course, you cancel out the Bills and Patriots. Steelers, Jaguars, Raiders, Seahawks is slightly easier than what the Bills have, which is Texans, Lions, Chargers, Rams.
Right.
I get the Raiders and the Steelers in there, both
nice.
at home.
That could be Steelers with Will Howard. We don't even know what's going on with the quarterback there.
That's right.
Much easier.
Get some more calls in here, 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. We also could be 2 weeks away from that A.J. Brown trade that's inevitable because it's post-June 1. Ed in South Carolina. Hello, Ed.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Owen, is it Owen? Can I tease you a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Did you mention you're going to graduation Friday night for your girlfriend?
I am, college graduation.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to say, I think it seemed a little early for high school graduation.
Jeez.
All right. So here's my read on the Sabres. They've been outscored 21-13, albeit 2 or 3 of those were empty netters. And you look at the odds winning Game 5, 80%. So I think I'm in the gloomy dooming camp.
To me, that would just be a lot of math, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have to win 2 out of 3 and you are guaranteed 1 win, like all different outcomes, it's, Buffalo. I feel like the math would be that your odds to win, if it was coin tosses, whoever wins the first one has a 75% chance to win the series.
Yeah, that's fair. So 2 other points. One is I just don't understand Tage Thompson, Olympic player, right, making just 2 silly penalties in the past 2 games with the cross-checking when there's no play going on near him. Wonder if there's some mental fatigue going on from the Olympic run that he had, which you could argue other guys might have as well, but, everybody's different. And the final point I want to make is, win, lose, or draw here, and I think it is lose. You got to be happy, and for somebody here down in South Carolina, and I know there's a lot of Buffalo fans across the country that have followed the Bills pretty closely, but now have a reason to turn on the TV in the evening and watch regular season now and playoffs hockey. You got to believe, if you guys can confirm to me, the future's got to be really bright here. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Like, I do think that's one thing that is different about the timeline of our 2 teams here. Both are good. Now, the Bills don't win the division for the first time in 5 years, and the Sabres do. I mean, could they both win the division next year? Sure, it's possible. I mean, Montreal will be there, and maybe Tampa's back, maybe Florida, whatever. The Bills, when they hit the offseason, it's this time around, it was something's got to change. I'm tired of this. Something's got to change. And for the Sabres, I think it is very different. I'm excited to see what they do, like what changes. You got a lot of good things, and as opposed to you're wasting this feels like the start of a window. And a lot of this series and the conversation around this series is how these 2 teams should probably be here for a while. You're not waiting on an Östlund or a Helenius to figure their game out in 3 years. They both appear to be ready to go. So, all right, plug those 2 in your lineup next year and make some shrewd decisions. Maybe you want your depth defense to be better. I know that we're sitting here talking about Timmins and Stanley and Metza and Kesselring. I mean, Kekalainen was out there for Parayko. Who's he shoot for? And it's also worth mentioning, like, Jarmo in a free agency window and Jarmo at a trade deadline or trading at the draft. Did this year undo 30%? Did you unlock 30% of the no-move clauses around the league? Sure, there'll still be some people that wouldn't want to do it, but have a lot of potential players that could suit what you need decide to say, I'll go to a division winner with a crazy fan base. What's not? Why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
right?
There have been a lot of, I think, a stigma, a cloud, a sort of
it's lifted
bubble around this team that now I think is definitely
now you
gone.
can just be a regular team.
Yeah.
From a city that's not quite Canada, but kind of is pretty close.
Right. They've got a real GM. They got 2 real GMs. Bergevin's still up there.
Yep.
And they've got a head coach that's top 5 most wins all time in the league. They've got.
Is that the biggest question about the offseason is whether or not he's back?
I think probably.
If they lose Saturday, he's getting asked Saturday.
Aside from Tuch, that'll be the biggest question. Yeah. It'll be Tuch and Lindy.
Boy, there's a question there.
Yeah.
Who'd you be more confident in bringing back? If it's one. That's a question. You don't have to pick. It could be both. It could be neither. It could be not up to the Sabres in either case. But, like,
that's really interesting.
I don't know what they would do. It's funny. The speculation when Jarmo got the job right away was he was going to hire one of his guys, and who was the name? Tortorella. And how's he doing?
Pretty
great.
Awesome.
Great.
Pretty awesome.
He's jumped in immediately with Vegas, and they have found another level, and they're in the Western Conference Final. So, that name's off the list. I don't know what other name would be there. I don't know if they're just going to, elevate Seth Appert. Just don't know. Don't know what where Lindy's head is at.
There is a wave of, similar to how the GMs now, there's this sort of analytical wave of younger, different thinking minds that are being hired. I think there's a group of coaches that are in that group too. Like Manny Malhotra's a name. David Carl from Denver University is a guy that has been sort of very, very highly thought of, hasn't felt it's the time to leave Denver anywhere yet. I think he's a guy that can pretty much choose his spot wherever he wants to go. I think there's a handful of coaches like that are like sort of rising stars too.
And yeah, I just had another name pop in my head about like, what do you do about Byram?
Yeah.
1 year left. Do you want to extend that and say we're going to have this core 4 on the blue line for a while? You could sign up for the top 4D you've got for the next 5 years. You can lock it in right now.
Yeah.
Dahlin, Samuelson, Byram, Power. But, I mean, the other 3 are under contract long term. You sign Byram and like, I've got a franchise identity. Bang, there it is.
That's it, yeah.
Does he want to stay? He did say it's some of the most fun he's ever had playing hockey. All of a sudden now you're on a team that competes. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a very interesting offseason.
The question with him has always been, does he feel he needs the chance to be a number 1 D somewhere? Because that's always been, like, that's why he left Colorado.
Are his minutes not close enough?
I think it's less about minutes and more about, like,
money
and
power play.
I think power play.
I don't think this power play should be above anything.
No, I agree.
803-0550. Season's not over. Just, kind of get into some of their questions we will get to. Some very interesting ones.
Yeah.
803-0550. Yeah. Logan Stanley, by the way, went out for a game and is he going to be heard from again?
Maybe.
He might get back in for game 6.
Yeah, maybe
he
if
might.
They want to move whatever. They wouldn't replace him with Timmins.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. They could get him back, but I don't know. It felt like maybe that backhand flub pass to Krebs followed up by the sliding himself out of the play thing might have been the end to him. And maybe it should have been. I don't know that that's wrong.
Yeah.
But it feels like that's where it lies right now.
We'll take your phone calls. Shots of audio coming up, 9 o'clock segment. Much more fun and frivolity. It's just a fun Friday morning. It's, it's kind of nice outside. The weekend looks like it's going to be nice. 63 today, 73 tomorrow, 76 Sunday, 86 Monday. And tomorrow night's game looming large. It's a handshake game, but for the bad guys. So we'll talk about game 6, keep our focus on what happened last night and on, the next one. Win to stay alive. Jeremy and Joe here on WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garflow, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
And goaltender is, I've been making this comparison the last couple of weeks, and it feels more and more like it. It's everybody eats. And that's a nice story. And then when it's time for someone to come up big, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yep.
That's everybody eats. That was the Bills in the playoffs. Oh, who needs that guy? We don't need that. Look around. Look at this. Everybody's happy. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 on the road in the AFC Championship game. No one can get open. All right? That's it.
Well,
you're done. Sorry. You peaked. You're not making it past this moment because everybody eats is fun when you're playing bad teams. Everybody eats is fun to get you certainly so far. And then if you don't have someone that's going to do the job well enough, then, who do you count on? Who do you count on?
Right.
Not to say Montreal's got some 5-time Vezina winner. Last night, Montreal put a guy in net who was shaky and who was there to be taken.
Yes.
And they didn't take him.
But what's he done for every game in these playoffs? He started every game.
Yep.
They know that, all right, Dobish is going to play. And we know that there's some instability there, but we know him, and they're going to trust him.
Yep.
And that's not something the Sabres have had. There were questions going into yesterday about what was going to happen in net, and the worries all came true, I think. Like, the fourth and fifth goal are the problem with Luukkonen.
Just can't happen.
They cannot go in.
The game should continue to be 4-3 for a long time.
Right.
It needs to be. And Dobesh, he gave up bad goals, and I mean they were really bad goals. The second and the third one were really
horrible.
bad goals. And what did he do?
Stabilize.
Yep. And Luukkonen gave up some goals that weren't even necessarily bad, but maybe unlucky on some level.
Super unlucky. I have no problem with him on the first
and
two. The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those two penalties that Tage and Dahlin, your two guys.
That's the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What they had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take a penalty.
No, Benson took the only
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been, because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway.
Whatever. He has taken his fair share too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those two penalties by those two players, Tage and Dahlin, are the two goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the two power plays that your two best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross check away from the play. Nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those two guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they're the guys that burned you.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. TGIF. Quick thought. Has anybody come to hate Montreal in this series? I have not. And I have a quick thought on that as to why.
Because the games aren't close.
We're too busy being mad at our team.
Yeah.
That's it. We're too busy being, what's happening? Why are you not doing your thing? As opposed to, your team looks great and the other team, either they score big goals and there's smug smiles, or they two-hand your best player across the ankle or across the face. I mean, there have been some dirty shots from Jekai, but I have not.
I always cut it pretty fine.
The
There's a lot of us who do.
I have a hatred for this other team.
Yeah, no, I think
maybe another year or two getting knocked out by them will build that.
Sure.
Like the Chiefs.
I think that I felt the closest to that in Game 4 when it was a close game.
Yeah.
And it was contested, and that's been missing for every other game of the series. It's been one-sided. So you're kind of like, well, I'm either like, well, these guys are bad because we're winning by 3, or I'm mad at my team because we're playing terrible and I can't even pay attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
I have been impressed. Hudson every time is incredible. So
on Dobish staying in, you see the ruling on that, why they did it? The goalie coach said leave him out there.
Yep.
And Dobish had quite a comment. He said, I'm glad he left me out to dry. Usually we only say that when someone fails. And he said, I'm glad he left me out to dry because you got his game back. The goalie coach said, keep him in. So Martin St. Louis kept them in because it was shaky. 803-0550, more your calls and shots of audio when we return here on WGR.
The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those two penalties that Tage and Dahlin, like your two guys.
Yeah, again. That's the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Like, away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What? They had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take a penalty.
No, Benson took the only
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been, because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway.
Whatever. He has taken his fair share, too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling, and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those two penalties by those two players, Tage and Dahlin, are the two goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the two power plays that your two best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross-check away from the play. Like, nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those two guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they are the guys that burned you.
Canadians with numbers down low. Demidov fire scores from between the circles. And it's a 6-3 Montreal lead with 16:28 to go in the third period.
We've reached do or die territory. The Buffalo Sabres rolling to start Game 5, up 3-2 at one point. They unravel from there. Montreal would wind up winning 6-3. One last chance in Game 6 to make it a 7-game series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WGR. Pregame at 7. Looking around the playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced past the Ducks after a 5-1 win yesterday. They won that series 4-2. The Buffalo Bills' schedule officially been released, along with the rest of the NFL schedule. For all the details, you can visit the piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Looking around the NFL, speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Adam Schefter said Micah Parsons' knee is a candidate to be placed on the PUP list to start the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports some teams could see Pittsburgh at least considering to move on from TJ Watt in 2027. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live, now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Canadians with
We've changed from the Game 5 obituary to the Game 6 hype train. Listen, from thinking, man, I don't know if I could take a Game 7 to please give me a Game 7. Lord, give me this challenge of dealing with the stress of a Game 7. Down 3-2. Last time the Sabres were down 3-2 in a series, they did win it against Carolina. It was a home game, right? That's the last time they're down 3-2? No, they're down 3-2 to Boston. They lost in 6. Okay, they lost. Yeah, lost Game 6 in Boston. Never mind. In 2010-11. Right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
That's what happens.
That's what they say.
That's the game.
Somebody really smart said that. Listen, buried in all the things that happened yesterday, this is going to be for the real sickos who listen to this show and remember everything we say. In the Bills' schedule reveal, I don't get points for this. I don't get money for this. I should.
Yes.
I told you I bet the preseason is Carolina, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, and it is.
Yep. Pretty good.
I saw the schedule. I thought, what? I got it. If only I could use that for something else.
Right.
Carolina.
If I could be right about things that matter.
Yes, Carolina, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. I could know who would win the NBA games tonight. Or NHL. There's no NHL games. We're just going to wait for the Sabres and Canadian series to end because I don't know. I've not seen the schedule for the Western Conference Final yet. Have you?
I haven't seen one.
I don't think so. Actually, maybe I think Brian might have had it.
We do have it.
Night. Yeah.
Conference Final schedules. Okay, so the Western Conference Final Wednesday.
Yep.
So Wednesday, if the Montreal Canadiens win, the Eastern Conference Final starts first. If Montreal wins tomorrow, it's Tuesday for the East and Wednesday for the West. If it goes 7 games, it'll be Wednesday for the West and Thursday for the East.
Yep.
So There's a game on Memorial Day, by the way.
Ooh. That's coming up. That's right.
Yeah, that is.
If you make the next round, there's a game on Memorial Day.
Time flies when you're in the playoffs, and it's like mid-May already, and the Sabres are still playing. It
We're
feels
approaching
different
June.
for us, by the way.
The amount of draft talk and OTA conversation that be going on is crazy in years past.
Yeah.
What a different world this is.
Yeah.
It really is something. Really is something.
All right, we'll get some calls in. And Joe Kelly has our Outlet Liquor shots of audio to get to as well. The Sabres lose. Stupid penalties. Not able to beat a goalie that was, like, ready to be beat. Really ready to be beat in that game. He even pretty much said it. Tough one. And, again, like, they were dominating until that goal to make it 3-2 and then 4-3, 5-3, 6. Like, maybe dominating strong. They looked fine. They looked in control. They looked like their forecheck was getting home, was doing what it needed to do. And anyway, your expected goal shares by player at 5-on-5 in these playoffs. Number 1 and number 2, Benson and Doan. Number 16 and 17 among players on this team for expected goal share, Tuch and Thompson. Alex Tuch and Tage Thompson having an expected goal share below Connor Timmins. Not what I thought I'd see. Sully and Olean. Sully, good morning.
Good morning. Hi. So, you kind of just touched on it with Thompson and Tuch, but I think the Sabres run a real risk of making a big mistake the Bills made. If you look at it, it's paying good players great player money. And I think they did it with Dawson Knox when he got his contract after being a rookie. I think they did it with Terrell Bernard, and I think they did it with Greg Rousseau. And I'm sure you can think of other examples, maybe Taron Johnson. And I worry about that with Tuch. He's a good player, but is he a great player? And I don't think he is. And I think you're risking paying him great player money.
Maybe. I guess it all depends on what you just define as good players, great player money. Like, of the guys you mentioned, Knox was definitely overpaid, but Terrell Bernard did not get great player money, and neither did Taron Johnson, and neither did Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau got paid good player money. And I think Tuch is about to get good player money, right? He's making 4.7. Is that what his current deal is?
I think so.
Which is
really good.
It's nuts.
Yeah, of course.
For him to make 10 is about right.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what? Yeah, it depends on what your definition of great player money is, because now it's gonna be different now because
I think
the cap is rising. So much.
I think the case against Tuch is about age. It's about age, term, and age. If this player were 25, you would not blink. You'd pay him that money and not even think twice.
Not even close.
It's all age.
Totally.
But I get the concept that you're bringing up, Sully. Like, is this a person you want to hitch your wagon to going forward?
Right.
A lot of good teams have a contract like this or two.
Sure.
And it's fine. It's totally fine. When I'm thinking of the Sabres and the future here, and who I want to be here and who I think is expendable, like we can clearly identify a core, the next core, which is, well, we'll see about Norris and we'll see about Thompson. Those guys are 27, 28.
Yeah, but there's a clear underneath those guys.
Yeah,
there is a Doan, Benson, Helenius.
The next wave is clearly coming and very close to being here.
Yes.
Kulik, Oslin, Doan, Benson. The oldest is Doan at 24.
Right.
And you've locked him up.
And he's signed, yeah.
Right. So, like, if you're looking at who's going to go, I'll tell you a top trade candidate I think is Ryan McLeod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still has good value. 26. He's 26 and at $5 million for the next 3 years. Like, that's a player that if you're looking to, all right, I want to try and get back a top center.
Right.
I'm going to trade this guy as part of the deal. Ryan McLeod would an easy one. We can talk about Norris all we want, and Norris in his durability concerns might ding that price, but sorry, I had to sneeze. And, on the blue line, it's Dahlin, Power, Samuelson are all locked up through 2030. So, and beyond even for some of them.
Yeah, right.
Byram has one more year.
Yeah, I'm trying, we said this yesterday and a little bit today, trying not to get too ahead of.
Yeah, they got a game tomorrow.
Right, they got a game tomorrow, but there's a very bright sort of glowing thing off in the distance that is like, okay, this is going to be fun, and they're going to be good, and they're set up. So that's fun to look forward to when you're feeling bad like you're feeling right now. So
Yep. Season's not over. They could just, go ahead and win tomorrow. Win tomorrow, spoil that Montreal party again. You already did it once.
Yep. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, put it this way. If Montreal had won to go 3-1, and then the Sabres win last night to go 3-2, how do you feel about this game on Saturday? They haven't won there yet, right? They could say they're a good road team, but they would have gone 0-2 in Montreal, and they're trying to get their first win there.
That's tough.
Would it materially be actually different? No, but you might feel a certain way about it, as opposed to now where why can't I lean on the idea that they can outplay them and win in Montreal? I think they can.
Sure.
Nick in Pendleton. Nick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're good.
I just want to give a shout out. I know some people were saying online, and I heard you guys mention a little bit this morning at the Blade Gang and the dummy weren't there. I'm actually the guy who brings the dummy down, and Blade Gang, does their thing. But we were there yesterday. I know the Sabres maybe didn't show up and give us our best, but we were there doing our thing, get the crowd riled up, and I think we had we topped our limit there with the young kids tackling the dummy like under 3-4 foot. They had a good time with it yesterday. So
good.
We had fun. We get it rolling, and man, not only hoping for Game 7 just to get there, but man, how great would it be to have a party 82 degrees on a patio for one time, right? We all talked about going down there in shorts and T-shirts, and come on, they got to do this Saturday, right? Let's go, right? Let's get to Monday,
Let's hope. Yeah, I mean, you got the energy. I'm glad you got it.
I love it.
I might get there by Saturday.
As soon as puck drop gets here, I think I'm going to be there.
I think I'll be there when they're up by 3.
That sounds awesome.
Sounds good. That'd be great.
That sounds awesome. That would be cool.
Be tough. It's been tough.
It has. That's all right. That's the game. That's what this time of year is. It's tough.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of wild to think that there are only 4 teams that will play a game after the Sabres this year.
Right.
That's it.
They were in. Yeah. They will be the team that got the farthest without making it to the conference final.
Yep.
I mean, the Ducks played.
The Ducks played 6 games too, so it was a tie. But sure,
tie. Right.
Yep. 803-0550. Josh in Charlotte. Then our shots of audio. Hey, Josh. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Not bad.
I know we still got our game on Saturday, and not trying to look too far ahead, trying to be as much optimistic as I can be. But I guess this is maybe a valid question for the future. Kind of maybe Owen can help on this. Where do y'all think we go for goalkeeper next year? I know we got Lyon and UPL. I think Levi is definitely out of the question. He's not NHL material. And Colton Ellis. I was looking at some free agents for next year and stuff for goaltenders, and a lot of them are on the older side. So I didn't know if maybe Owen knew of any AHL guys or WHL guys or OHL guys that, we might look at for next year. But let's go get this dub on Saturday and go Sabres, guys.
Yeah. That's a good question. Will they just run it back with these two? Here's my first prediction. At locker cleanout, whenever the season ends, maybe they win the cup. You have to always say that so you're not looking too far ahead. I bet Jarmo says he's fully comfortable with this room again.
Of course.
Which is what Kevin Adams said, and we all said, are you crazy? And then it worked really well.
It did. Right.
So he will say, of course, they did great. Our goaltending was not a problem. Would be more than happy to have these two return.
Yeah,
then walk off the podium and start thinking about whether or not he actually does want to do that.
Right. I think that they could light themselves on fire, and he's
going to say that.
Jarmo would say that anyways. That's just what you say. In terms of names, anybody in junior or prospect isn't somebody you're thinking about for next year. There are some. There are some guys that could be out there. Bobrovsky in Florida might be splitting up. I know Bobrovsky wants to stay, but Florida might not want to pay him.
Yeah.
He's asking for basically what Marchand's making, and that's probably too much for him at this
Freddie
point.
Anderson will be a free agent at the end of this year in Carolina.
Sure. And then you've got some of the big guys that are on teams that are at the end of their window. In New York, you've got Shesterkin. In New York, the Rangers are in a bad place. Winnipeg with Hellebuck, that was testy at the end of the year. You go watch his locker room clean out. He got asked, "Are you going to be back?" And he stared at the camera for about 7 seconds before he said, maybe.
Yeah.
So, there are always names available, but goalie is voodoo. But, I mean, if you get your hands on a Hellebuck or a Shesterkin, then you've got one of the handful of guys that aren't voodoo. Those guys are just going to be great. And that would be pretty cool. But that's really hard to get your hands on. It's really expensive, and it's rare. So that's always tough. Levi, I'm with you. I don't think has.
No, not.
I think he's not in the organization.
Not a part of the future.
I just don't. I don't see it. And even if he was, I don't think he's the guy you're banking on coming in and being your guy. I don't think that would be smart at all because they've done that enough times already, and he's basically the same goalie he's been the whole time. So I got nothing for Levi. And then Lyon and Luukkonen, I don't know. At some point, the Luukkonen ride has to come to an end if this is what he is. And this has been what he is for a while. I know that he has had really 2 stretches, the end of this season and the end of the year that he earned his contract, that were great. Everything else has been, I'm going to go with bad. Bad.
Yeah.
Not up to standard. And you want to take another shot at him having the fun year where he can be pretty good for a while, be my guest. But at some point, if you want to be a serious contending team, you got to get off that ride.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing?
The other thing about that ride is, and this is something I know that Joe, he'd be saying if he were here, he would say, I'm afraid to continue going to Luukkonen because I think the highs are fool's gold.
Yes. Right.
I know that's where he is on Luukkonen, and it has been for quite some time.
That's pretty much where I'm at too. I mean, since the first time I ever got in there and got on the air with you guys was essentially to complain about Luukkonen.
Right. Yeah.
He had a horrible game one night, and you texted me that night, does your mic work in your booth? And I was like, no. He was like, you're coming in to sit in the studio tomorrow. And that was the first time I was ever on the air.
And then we made your microphone in there work?
Yeah.
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 All right.
That was cool.
It was a positive development.
Yes. I would say so. It's good for me at least.
Yeah.
Hope everybody out there likes it.
Was that the day that I tweeted wave UPL now?
I think maybe.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. That's exactly what it was.
Looking back, that was not that smart because he had a good year.
He did.
He's a big part of what they did.
Right.
Now, here's the $1 million question. Are we suckers for the rotation? Because if you're suckers for the rotation, you should go Lyon in Game 6 and Luukkonen in Game 7. That's not even about Luukkonen. That's just about
the rotation.
We're just going to do the thing we have not done in the playoffs. The stat remains they have only won a game when the goalie had 2 days off.
Right.
That's it. They've not won a game where a goalie wasn't more than a day rest. If Lyon goes in Game 6 and he wins it, you can decide for yourself. Does that mean it was the rotation that won, or was it Lyon that won? Because that would mean Luukkonen in Game 7. And wouldn't that be that's the funniest thing ever, potentially.
Right.
I don't trust this goalie, but it's his turn.
It's his turn.
It's his turn.
So we've got to do it.
I trust his turn.
Right.
Joe Kelly, do we have time for shots of audio? You want to move to the next segment?
Might have to move it to the next segment. We got a little good chunk of stuff going on today.
We can move it. Let's just talk NFL Week 1. How about it?
Okay.
Week 1. Right. We got the whole Week 1 schedule. Let's get the Week 1 storylines. Games we want to watch in Week 1. So the season opens with a Super Bowl rematch. Patriots at Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll watch the New England Patriots out of the gate.
Sweet.
Then there's a game in Melbourne at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Niners at Rams. That'll be 8:35 p.m. Week 1, Panthers and Bears. Bucks at Bengals. Saints at Lions. Sneaky opportunity for the Saints to show everybody they're going to be real this year. I'm just leaving space for the Saints.
Yeah.
Leave space. Bills at Texans. Ravens, Colts. Browns, Jags. Falcons at Steelers. Jets at Titans. Robert Saleh revenge game. Cardinals and Chargers. One thing about the Bills schedule, I had hoped to get the Chargers late in the year. Only because I think that by week 2, 3,
that Mike McDaniel and Justin Herbert might have some unstoppable witch's brew concoction, and the league might need a little time. But whatever, the Bills get an early shot at it. And I just watched a podcast. Who was it? Somebody who had played with both Josh and Herbert and said they're so much alike in the way that they play. Like, Herbert's never done it in the postseason. That's a big part of what separates them, and maybe McDaniel takes him to the next level. But
yeah, I think Dion maybe made a comparison between he was on a pod with somebody, and maybe somebody else brought
Dawkins
it up.
and Max Crosby. Yeah, that's who it was.
And Dawkins was like, they're alike for sure.
And then someone asked him about Drake May, and he just said, respect the player.
Yeah,
he kept it real short on Drake. He's like, I don't mess with in-division rivals or anything like that. We know he hates the Jets, but
Dolphins at the Raiders in Week 1, Packers at Vikings, Eagles and Commanders. The Sunday night game is Cowboys-Giants, and then Monday Night Football to start is Broncos-Chiefs. The conspiracy theorists think the Chiefs got a light schedule to protect the Mahomes timeline because they open with Denver, which is tough. But after Denver, the Chiefs go Colts, Dolphins, Raiders. I'm protecting if Justin Fields has to get a start in there.
I remember the last time the Cowboys and Giants opened up. I was in New York for the Bills-Jets game the next night.
Sunday Night Football?
Sunday Night Football. 40-0 in the Cowboys' favor. That was Brian Dable still there. That was a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
I was in a bar watching that just with a bunch of Giants fans around. That place was deflated as all deflated could be. So it'll be interesting to see them rematch, I guess. Totally different now.
Yeah. All right. Game 6 tomorrow night in Montreal. What else is going on tomorrow? Oh, the Preakness Stakes. We're going to talk with Nick the Railbird coming up in a minute on that. So we'll do Nick the Railbird, and we'll also do our shots of audio. So let's break early so we have time for both those things.
Okay.
We'll do that. When we get back, we'll get some Preakness picks because there are a bunch of horses we do not know yet. So Preakness picks and shots of audio coming up. Time to talk Preakness Stakes. Nick the Railbird joining us. Talking the second jewel of the Triple Crown, but there will be no Triple Crown this year. A number of horses that run the Derby not running the Preakness. There's a lot of talk. Nick, there's a lot of talk about changing the schedule for the horses and all that. But either way, we got a race this weekend from Laurel Park in Baltimore, Maryland. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Jeremy.
Preakness number 151. So it's at Laurel Park. It moves back to Pimlico after renovations. Is there anything to consider with the track change, Nick, for this Preakness Stakes?
Yeah, it's highly unusual. It's only the second time in 100 years they've run a mile and 3/16 at Laurel Park. Laurel Park has wider turns than Pimlico. Pimlico's famous for the tight turns. So, speed, maybe not so much than you would get if it was a regular Triple Crown Preakness event at Pimlico. But it's certainly a wide open race of competitive 14 horses.
And 14 horses in the Preakness, is that a good number? It feels like in years past that might be a little lower than that. Even all the way down to Belmont can get really low. So 14 horses should mean the opportunity for some good money. And, man, holy cow, the Derby, Nick, the Derby's trifecta, holy cow, the number on that, because that 70-1 horse got in.
Absolutely, and I think we spoke. It was a wide open race, and trips matter, and I will say that to everybody that's listening. It's not necessarily the best horse that wins. It's the actual trip they get around that racetrack, because there was bumping going on. There were horses that were wide, and if anybody that watched that race, cleanest trip was the winner. Far on the outside, Jose Ortiz did a great job, kept the horse out of trouble.
So, which horses are returning from the Derby? I recognize Incredibolt and also Great White, the horse that bucked off and said no thanks to the Derby. He's going to try to run in this one.
Yeah, he is, and he's an interesting horse. We could talk about him real quick. He's the wild card. You don't know. He is so big, 17.2 hands. His success has been on all weather tracks, synthetic tracks. His one dirt effort basically was not too good. However, if this horse gets, accustomed to a little bit to this Laurel track, he could be a force, and he will be all of probably 20 to 25 to 1. So he definitely hit the board.
Your favorites, your picks here. Who do you like?
Okay, we're going to go with somebody who was in the Derby, and that's the 12 horse, Incredibolt. Riley Mott, who is waited to the last possible minute. The rumor is he waited about 20 minutes before the race closed at noon on Thursday, I believe, to put this horse in the race. He looked at, there's a lot of speed. There's like at least 6 or 7 horses that are going to be competing for that spots and will be running hard. He looked at the running style. This horse is a stalker. He's going to probably sit mid-pack, hopefully stays out of trouble, and I think, with no clear favorite, will be all of 5 to 1 or 6 to 1, and he's the top choice.
Okay. Who else is in there? We doing just a straight win? You want to do a exacta box and trifecta? Who else we like?
We'll give it trifecta.
All right.
We're going to get the 9 in there. Iron Honor, Chad Brown. He trains this horse. He's a good trainer. He's done this twice in the recent memory. Cloud computing and early voting. He skips the Derby, and then his horses that he enters in the Preakness win. It's the same thing he's doing with Iron Honor. Fabian Pratt going to be right there as well. So be careful. He can be in the winner's circle. And then probably the other long shot, The Hell We Did, the number 7. Okay. He's a horse that has done really nothing wrong. He's run on 4 different racetracks. He has done well every time. He's a stalker, and Luis Saez knows the business, and he'll be all of 15 to 1 as well. So looking at the 12, the 9, and the 7.
12, 9, and 7. And your favorite to win is the 12?
The 12, Incredibolt. Yep.
Okay. All right. Nick the Railbird on the Preakness Stakes at Laurel Park this time around. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. Anytime, Chip.
And, of course, for your betting purposes, coverage on Peacock switches to NBC at 4 o'clock, but they got coverage all day. Attendance will be low for this, only maybe around 5,000 people. But OTB branches open at 11 a.m. Find the location near you at westernotb.com. Batavia Downs will have live wagering and all their stuff going on. Tacos and Tequila Preakness event. It takes place on Preakness Day. You can get tickets at BataviaConcerts.com. $30 ticket gets you 2 hours of tequila sampling, access to a taco bar, a $5 wager on the Preakness, and $25 free play for the gaming floor. That's all happening at the Preakness Stakes tomorrow at Batavia Downs. So the 12, the 9, the 7. Those are the numbers. Those are the horses that Nick the Railbird likes. I want to get in on Great White. Come on. Giant horse that turns down the Derby.
Yeah.
Wild card. He's the wild card. That sounds like our kind of horse.
Hammer it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hammer it.
Want everything to do with it. He'll
put him on top of any trifecta, everything.
It sounds like he will win the race accidentally.
Right.
He doesn't even want to. He just wants to get out of there.
Show up.
I only won the race so I could leave.
Great White doesn't care. He's just going to do it.
No. That horse became a cult figure when he threw his rider off. I know that's not like anything to joke about, but still, like, yeah, I got a little balance left over. So from the previous big one, the Preakness Stakes, not at Pimlico. Major renovations there. All right, what next? Shots of Audio.
Shots.
Powered by Outlet Liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the best place to buy a case. What's your outlet? Let's get to Mr. Joe Cali.
All right, we got quite the lineup here today. We got a lot going on. We're a lot in the PGA Championship, funnily enough, but we'll get to that. That's later. We're going to start out. The NFL released the schedules. I know we kind of went through and said we didn't really watch any of the videos. The one that caught my eye, though, the Raiders did a good job. They had Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza playing Dale and Brennan from Step Brothers. And when in that have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
When they're meeting on the lawn and they give each other their nicknames.
Speaking of which, that movie's in my head lately because I finally placed it. Every time I heard the word, every time we talked about the Montreal goaltender, Dobesh, I forgot. Dobek.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
I've
even
been
think
saying
about that.
it in my head, and it took me till like game 3. That's right. It's Mr. Dobek. Dobek.
That's hilarious.
You know? That's who I thought of the whole time. Dobek.
Wow.
Dobesh.
That's awesome.
Anyway. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
What a
Joe.
connection. No, that's okay. So Mendoza and Kirk Cousins were playing the Step Brothers, and they reenacted the scene on the front lawn when they first meet.
You're going to have to call me Kirko Chains.
Cool. You're going to have to call me the Nandalorian.
The Nandalorian. When did that come about?
Who is the Nandalorian?
Fernando Mendoza.
Fernandalorian?
The Nandalorian. Like
He's saying Fernandalorian. He can't be saying the Nando.
Did he? He said
he better be saying Fernandalorian.
Well, let's check the tape one last time here.
You're going to have to call me the Nandalorian.
The Nandalorian.
The better thing is Fernandalorian.
Yeah, I totally agree.
100%. It's like leaking it.
It's a miss. It's a miss.
It's a miss. Wait, your friends call you Nando? They might.
They might actually.
Call me Nando Calrissian.
That one might be even better. Look at that.
Fernando Calrissian.
That's
Look at
pretty
that.
good too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Nandalorian.
Nandor.
They had some other good jokes in there too.
Yeah. We got a theme here going on.
I know. What's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else?
I'm trying to think if there's another one.
There probably is.
There's got to be. There's got to be. The Kachuk brothers on their podcast, they were talking about the Olympic Village. You know, both of them really have nothing better to do at this point in the NHL season. But they talked about how they were trying to sneak beers into the Olympic Village, and one of the team members just said, "You know what? We're going to try it."
I don't know, like 20 in there. Guys are lugging and like putting under their jackets and like hide it going in. All of a sudden, Tage just has a case on his shoulder. Walk right through the security, sets it down like on the X-ray machine. We're like, what is going on right now? He doesn't give a like he's gonna get kicked out of the village. We just lost a big member of our team.
He did not.
Imagine if Tage had been kicked off the Olympic team for bringing a case of beer.
That would have been a crazy moment.
Tage forgot he wasn't on Chippewa carrying around a case of beer.
They go on to say it was like the old speakers, the boom boxes. He just walked through the entire village with the case on his shoulder. So
I think there's actually images of him doing that.
Yes.
Is there not?
They flashed one as they were playing the clip, and it's just him in the Team USA jacket just staring at a camera with that on his shoulder.
Case of beer on his shoulder.
Yeah. So
I wish I could be happier for him right now.
I know.
That, but
I know.
Can't really get there.
There were a ton of Sabres ones I had bookmarked, and I'm like, we just can't do this today. So
not today.
We'll have to save it for if they win the series. But up next, Rob Gronkowski was on the Spit and Chicklets podcast after his infamous appearance on the broadcast, just taking up the entire power play in Game 2, that was, I believe.
Yes.
So here he is talking about his reputation in Buffalo, because they they assume his is kind of like Ryan Whitney's, but it's not.
Gronk tackling the dummy on the street, the UFC dummy.
No. Here's the thing, though. I don't really got that much love in Buffalo. I really don't. I saw some of the comments on, Instagram under my interview and everything that I did, and a lot of Buffalonians, hate on me, which is fine, which is understandable. I just went to the. I just got inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, first ballot, and it's probably because I played the Buffalo Bills 10 times in my career, just to let alone my stats versus the Buffalo Bills. So
yeah, so he starts railing on the Bills a little bit.
I do think that a lot of it has to do with the Trey White play.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
100%.
100%.
That's like the thing that's in everyone's brain is him just pressing onto him.
It would be pressing.
Smash in the back of his head.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's 89% of it.
It would be very easy, I think, for Buffalo people to all right, he was on the Patriots and he won whatever, but he was, he's a Buffalo guy at the end of the day. But when you pile drive a dude's skull into the turf.
Yeah, a well-respected player, well-loved player.
Right, as highly...
It wasn't like it was Kiko Alonso.
It was a dirty play, yeah.
Right, it was a horrible, horrible play. And so I think that, I totally agree. I think that cost him most of his reputation here.
Yeah, they were surprised at the notion of that, considering Biz is kind of a joke around here, but, whatever.
Listen, Biz, I think he's great. I like him a lot. I think he's a very good analyst. He's a perfect kind of national broadcast character guy. And who he's riding with, whose bandwagon he's on. It's a funny bit. And you guys, we talked about who's a lot on the Sabres bandwagon and who's not. I didn't really care. I think it was kind of cool until he went on a rant yelling at Sabres fans about something about how, I don't know. It's just
about the penalties in Game 3.
About penalties in Game 3.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he was scolding Sabres fans oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, you just got to sit with him for a little while, and you'll get there on him. I like him generally. I can only take doses.
But the idea that he was going to, I'm done with the Leafs. What, are you going to find a new team? You're going to jump over here on our wagon? Fine. You want to do that? You can do that. Oh, wait a minute. You're scolding fans about penalties? See you later.
Right.
That's
why
a little too
that's
much.
what I mean. I can only take so much of him. I think he's good, and it's good for the game and everything. But I can't, listen to a whole 2 hours of him talking about it.
No.
I just can't do it.
He's an interesting character. When he parked the bus here and all of that, that was a fun bit.
I'm still saying I like
great,
him.
but doses.
I'm a fan. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see if we end up getting to where Owen is. But to the PGA Championship. Sorry, this is Bryson DeChambeau at every major event, just falling apart entirely.
Choking?
Yeah, just choking. Yeah. Just completely unraveling. The guy cannot. Did you see what happened yesterday?
He has 2 major wins.
I know, but in the last little while,
it's been tough since he departed. I mean, he actually won a major since he left.
Yeah,
never mind. I don't know. Yeah,
he has major wins
since the Masters choking.
He finished second at the PGA twice.
Right.
He won the U.S. Open twice, second at the PGA twice, finished 5th and 8th at the Masters and 8th at the Open.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I don't think he's a choker.
The only reason I'm labeling choker is because of what happened at the Masters, I guess. The unraveling that was. And I don't know.
He's known to fire a high number at he either, it feels like at the majors, can compete, like you just said, Jeremy, he's got really high finishes, or he misses the cut because he shoots at 76 like he did yesterday. So that, but isn't that just golf?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just the game. Rory McIlroy, though, spoke about his opening round, kept it brief.
Rory, how would you describe your opening round?
Shit. Short and sweet.
Yeah, not bad.
Very Irish.
I love it. And then this was a big story yesterday. Garrick Higo, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Higo.
This is the guy that was late?
Yeah, this kid. It was just, this quote from him afterward.
Let me tell you, the biggest thing about this Garrett Higo guy that I found to be wild was his 2-time tour winner.
Yeah.
I know.
Garrick Higo. I'm like, this guy has 2 wins? Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
2 wins on the PGA Tour, 3 on the European Tour. Yeah, he won. Let me find his 2 wins. Go ahead. Play what you got here.
Okay. Here's his quote after.
I always cut it pretty fine. There's a lot of us who do. We don't want to get to the tee box 10 minutes early and be cold. We have to hit it far and straight. It's our job to do that. I don't really think it's my job to be 10 minutes early.
I don't know. I get it. You want to stay warm. You want to be warmed up, all of that. But it's not my job to be 10 minutes early. You are a professional in the sport.
It's your job to be on time.
Right, and on
probably.
time is early, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah. Sounds like a kid that's a little...
He does have 2 major wins,
Unaware. Unaware is what I'll say. I think it's just a kid that's just not sure that... doesn't understand that that's not a great look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not exactly the thing to say in that moment. Like, yeah, it's my bad. I made a mistake. It's probably where you want to go there. But
Yep. He won the Palmetto Championship in 2021 and the Corrales Punta Cana Championship in 2025.
How old is he?
He is not old. He is 20... Born in 1999, so he's 26.
26.
Huh. His birthday was last week. He's 27.
Wow.
He got a 2-shot penalty for his birthday at the PGA Championship.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's funny. That's the shots of audio for this week.
All right.
All right, very good. Extendo Sports coming up. And then the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show here on WGR.
The penalties thing, we haven't talked about those yet today. Those 2 penalties that Tage and Dahlin, like your 2 guys.
Yeah, again. That's the story in Game 4.
Exactly. And the Tage penalty is completely unacceptable. Like, away from the play.
Didn't Dahlin take a late penalty in Game 6 in Boston? What they had to kill a penalty late in. No, they didn't take a penalty.
No, Benson took the only
Is that
penalty.
Game 3 in Boston?
It might have been, because Game 6 they got no penalties.
He takes a run at McAvoy late in Game 3.
That might be right.
Anyway.
Whatever. He has taken his fair share too. His penalty, I thought Demidov was already falling and it was a little soft, but he's been putting refs in a position to make calls on him. And the fact that those 2 penalties by those 2 players, Tage and Dahlin, are the 2 goals that end up getting by Luukkonen and changing the game. It's the 2 power plays that your 2 best players gift wrap and hand over is fitting for how this series has gone. Those guys have not been good enough, and they gift wrapped the game last night. That's what they did. That Tage penalty is a cross check away from the play. Like, nothing about it needed to happen. Nothing. At least Dahlin is coming back at the net trying to stop, a grade A chance from Demidov. But you cannot be hurting your team that much as those 2 guys, your captain and your assistant captain, your best forward and your best D, and they are the guys that burned you.
is our first look at the stadium in a full game setting. They'll be the first team to come in and see it. So 2 preseason games, Carolina on the 15th and then Pittsburgh on the 27th. So if you want to get to see the stadium, here's good news. Maybe this actually will drive down the price of the opener. Not kidding here, right? Oh, it's $663 in the secondary market to get into the Lions game. Actually, I just want to go see the stadium. Oh, all right, we'll go to Carolina. How much will it be?
Right. No, it's a huge... Get people in there and getting to see the environment.
I just want to see it.
Right.
Like, I'll sell my preseason ticket. It might be a preseason ticket that actually gets to be expensive. But I do wonder if, that price on that Detroit game could come down a little bit because of that. Right now, today, tickets to the Lions game are already $100 less. $552 to get in.
It'll go down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Chargers game more than anything right now to try and get in there. My brother's a huge Chargers fan, and they play on his birthday. I got to make that happen in the new stadium.
The cheapest ticket to the Carolina game right now on the secondary market is $135.
Oh.
Preseason game.
Can get in and experience the entire thing.
But that is a preseason game.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
You're not going to see any of the starters. But
the Steelers game is $97.
There you go.
Yeah. And on as the season goes along. Like, I'm just looking at secondary market prices to see, Chargers game, $400. Yeah, they go down as it goes on. Anyway, $660 for that Lions game, already down $100 in less than a week.
Yeah.
In like 3 days. All right. What next?
Game 6.
Game 6.
Yeah, game 6.
Beautiful weather awaits. Monday's either like what? Locker clean out in Yarmo Presser?
Yep. Or... Game 7.
And there's a developing narrative. Narrative doesn't mean fake. It doesn't mean it's a lie. It means we've arrived on a story. The developing narrative that we'll see if it carries through with this series ends here, that the Sabres went into the playoffs thinking they were going to play Tampa or Boston, and Montreal is a team that they didn't exactly plan for. Or they didn't think they had to because they wanted to get a little bit more physical, veteran, jam, and that's not helping them in this round. So,
no.
Here we are. I think that's a developing narrative, and I don't say that to dismiss it. I think it's got legs.
It's got legs,
yeah, it does.
For sure.
With the way the division was, you never knew. It was all over the place until the end. So.
Yep. All right, that's it for us. And you can, pop in for the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show. Have yourself a great weekend. Fingers crossed for Saturday night. And we're back. Joe's back in on Monday. Hopefully we're running waivers for Game 7's drum banger and, gearing up for do or die. We'll see. Talk to you Monday here on WGR.